Stevie Lancaster. Mate, it's been a massive season for you guys. First season in the sport. Started out really well. A bit of a rollover. Has caused you some grief in terms of the championship, but you're back at this final round.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Definitely hasn't turned out as we'd planned it to this season, but that's racing, as they say. Massive effort after the rollover at Wyndham from all the boys, especially Scott. But we're still in the hunt. The boat's going good, and we'll see how we go this weekend. Yeah,
look, only 104 points separates the leader of the championship and yourself, so it's really nice and tight, isn't it?
It is, and we'll go into this weekend sort of as a test weekend for us now. We probably can't win, but it's the best place to practice and fine-tune, so looking forward to it.
You can win the round.
We can.
How'd you go getting back in the boat after the rollover? We've probably spoken about this before, but, you know, in terms of mentally, does it play on the mind, or are you just straight back into it?
No, definitely. Race 1, we were both a bit cautious, I suppose you'd say, which is understandable. But race 2 and 3 was, by race 2 was comfortable. It was, let's get into it.
Keen to get back in the boat this weekend?
Very. Yes.
Mate, you come from a ski racing background and you drove lab boats, which are very flighty, twitchy, fast boats. You always loved a little bit of show trim across the finish line at the Southern 80, a bit like myself. But what the differences between these boats? I imagine it's just chalk and cheese.
Yes and no. These things run fast and flat and have pretty much zero trim, but they are nice and flighty. So on the sweepers, I really like drifting them across a bit like a lab. You let them slide, so it's grouse fun. Yeah, really like it.
Oh, mate, it's been great to have you in the championship. The boat, one of the best-looking boats on the circuit, and really enjoyed having you around. Looking forward to you going hard this weekend.
Thanks very much, Dave.
Thanks, mate. Well, just running through the pits, and I found my old mate Harry, the boatman, backer. And you've got to go to briefing, mate, so I want to be quick. But you can still win the championship from here last round.
I can still. We need miracles, but we can still win the championship. So we're running second. Cardiac arrest is running in first. Hopefully he breaks a D-box or something, but no, I'm pretty sure. I'm happy for him anyway, regardless.
Slow start for you this season, mate, but you've come home with a wet sail, 3 wins from your last 3 races.
Yeah, so it was a slow start. As you know, I was in the Colonel for the first 2 races, so that put me behind a little bit. So I'm just going to try 3 from 3 again, hopefully.
Well, if you can do that and they do have a little problem, you might get there. Good luck, mate.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
Go to briefing. Well, it's a good day when you roll down into the pits and 2 legends come through, but these boys have been working pretty hard together, Anthony Defina and David Clark. Ant, you boys have been working pretty hard on this Adelaide deal.
Yeah, we have. This is our 2nd year here, so Clarkey came to me about 3 years ago and said, I've got an idea, and we put it together, and last year was a tremendous success, and we're back again.
Dave, you're an absolute stalwart of the Adelaide Speedboat Club, and you love your powerboat racing. You run a blown boat. You're a legend blown boat driver. But, mate, you really enjoy this offshore stuff.
I do. It's great. I think anything makes the sport great. You know, there's heaps of classes, so it's good to have these boys here. It's something different. Last year, like you said, was really, really good. This year's, going to be exactly the same. It's amazing the amount of interest that's created within the area. So we hope the foreshore to have a fair few people today watching, today and tomorrow, which is great. So there's a lot of people excited about it here.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I've seen a lot of people coming on board this year as well. And we've got the sailing club up the road, and a lot of other businesses coming on.
Yeah, last year the crowds were incredible. I think they took us a bit by surprise, and the amount of people off at on Largs Pier and watching us, and just the people down here and the social media interaction. So this year we've got Largs Bay Sailing Club on board as well. Heaps of interest. Local council, the sailing club, cruising yacht club. Obviously, Clarkey's putting in a lot as well. So great event.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've heard he's the major sponsor of Venturi Racing this weekend.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Thanks for that, Dave.
He nearly fell over.
He just doesn't know.
They said it's the right colour.
It's the right colour.
Just a different sticker.
Mate, you would you ever think about jumping in one of these offshore boats?
If I say yes, James would be busting me to get one. And we'll probably fight who drives and who does the throttles. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Oh, you never know. One day. I mean, it's we sort of got a few things on the pipeline at the moment with their business. So it's sort of time factor and money at the moment. But who knows? In a year or so's time, that could happen. It's possible. We sort of have a crack at anything, and it's a great bunch of people. It's all good, and in the back of our mind, we're thinking about something, but it'll be a while yet.
That's not a no, folks. I love it. Good on you, Clark.
We're going to try and, we've mentioned a couple of times, we're going to try and get Clarkey in for a little ride, maybe after a race.
That'd be fantastic. Now, just quickly on the championship as well, and sitting in second at the moment, new boat, new deal for this thing, your first season, last round coming into it. You probably need a little bit of a miracle, but mathematically you can still win this thing.
Yeah, look, I think we're third at the moment. Are we second? Are we second? Second. Okay, second. So look, on paper,
Tell a lie, you're third.
yeah, we're third. Yeah, look, on paper, if someone had a DNF, which you don't want, realistically, we're a solid third. You never know here. A couple of wins could be our water if it chops up a bit. We might get enough points to come up to second. But I think the good thing this year is we've got 4 boats that have run the series, super competitive on the water, not much between any of them. So it's been great for us, great for the Hornet guys as well, just having a stock Mercury engine package, competing against the custom-built Barbagallo and Maritimo 750s.
Mate, tell us about this boat. I mean, you jump into it first round up in Newcastle, and from there to here, is it a different boat or is it very similar?
Oh, no, look, it is different. We had all sorts of dramas the first round, and just whether it was time, us not understanding the boat, so we had way too much water pressure. First race at Lake Macquarie, blew a hose, and that was a DNF for us in the first race. But since then, the boat's run flawlessly. We're getting our head round the steering on it. We've changed a few things just in the setup, trim system we're working on, tunnel flap, we're getting our head round. So we've improved every race, so that's all we can ask for.
Good on you, mate. Boat looks fantastic. Clarkie, where's the best place to watch from if you're in Adelaide?
Not my house.
And Clarkie's address is?
Not telling you. Anywhere along the coast. We've moved the course further south.
So it's right outside Clarkie's house.
Yeah. So we've got both people can go on both jetties, Largs and Semaphore, so you get a good view. And then I'm just somewhere north of that. You'll find if you drive past, it'll be about probably 25 people on my front lawn, I think. So,
fantastic. All right, boys, good on you. Good luck this weekend, and thanks for everything you do, Clarkie. Have a great weekend, boys.
Good on you, mate. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
Here on site at the Largs Bay Sailing Club, and also welcome to everybody watching here in Australia and around the world on GP Hydro live streaming. And as we cast our eye across the beautiful Largs Bay, some beautiful conditions here for us today. The sun has come out. Yesterday was a little bit ordinary, I must say, pretty windy and quite wet as well, but it has come good today. And in fact, we're just watching boats heading out into the milling area. If we look across, we can see the beautiful Donzi machine just sitting there, getting ready to go. Big shout out, of course, to all of our wonderful sponsors and supporters here this weekend. We've got the Largs Bay Sailing Club. Welcome everybody at Largs Bay. Hope you've got your spots and going to enjoy the day. I'm sure you will. If this doesn't turn you on, you probably haven't got a switch. So thanks everybody at the Largs Bay Sailing Club. Also the beautiful North Haven Marina and the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia. We were there last night. Absolutely fantastic. The Beach Haven Cafe, we had a coffee there this morning, Neil and I. It was absolutely beautiful. Of course, the Adelaide Speedboat Club and Simons Clark Logistics, and also the beautiful 35 South Marine. A big shout out to all of those businesses and people that have come on board, both in kind and helping us out as well. So it's fantastic to get such wonderful support over here in South Australia. And we loved coming here last year for the inaugural running of this particular event, the final round of the championship. And we're certainly going to be coming back time and time again if this is how good it's going to be. Boats that we're looking for in this particular category, we've got the Super Sports 85 category boat, George Says and Chris Stavrindis in the Donzi racing machine. And then we've got our Super Sport 65 category boats. Current championship leader on pole position as well. So these boys, it's all going their own way at the moment. Charlie Diorio and Tiana Botic. Now, I'm not sure if Tiana's in the boat this weekend. I'll get confirmation on that for you. I'm not sure that she is. We've got Team 38 Offshore on the outside of them. The wild men of the arrangement, Benny Embleton and Liam Sutherland. Then we got the Nutcase. Now, these boys, They've won the last 3 races. They're currently sitting second in the championship, and they're going to try and win. If they can win each race here today and tomorrow, they may just snag the championship. The boat I'm talking about, of course, is the Nutcase with Harry Backer and Shane Payton, last year's championship winners, but they've got a lot of work to do here this weekend. Outside them, Brendan Weeks and Sophie Lancaster in the Con. And unfortunately, although Valentis is on my list here, I believe Valentis with Paddy Pachowski not running here this weekend. So should be a great battle of these speed limited classes. What are the speed limited classes, I hear you say, as we see boats heading up into the start area now. These boats are all limited via their GPSs. So GPSs in the boat that do get handed back in to the officials once the race is over. And if you've gone over that 65 or 85 mile an hour speed bracket, you are out. So it's very important for these guys not to go too hard. And the conditions, although they look nice and smooth, watching the boats now coming down the front straightaway on their sighting lap, their parade lap, they are jumping and moving around. So it's going to be interesting racing for these guys once they get up into race speed. So having a look there, we've got Cardiac Arrest on pole. Outside them, the Team 38 Offshore, the Green Machine, the Nutcase on the outside of them, the Con far outside there, and then we've got the Donzi Machine coming through. Now we've got a dogleg on the course as well, haven't we, Russell? This is exciting. And we're just watching him go through the dogleg here now. Throw a right-hander in to a boat race, and it really confuses boat racers because they're normally used to going left all the time. This is the right-hander that they're coming up into now. And what that also does is it makes the pole sitters, Cardiac Arrest, as it is at the moment, have to go the long way round through the right-hand dogleg. So that's going to get pretty interesting, particularly given that the start is straight off, straight into the dogleg. So these guys will go down, do their lap. They'll get picked up by the start boat, and in fact, we'll see them come down for a race start. So we'll just watch them as they go down into the bottom turn here. This gives us a good idea of where the course is and how it's laid out as well. They'll make a port turn down through the bottom end of the course down there at the Cruising Yacht Club end of the course. That's, of course, the northern end of the course. Turned me around twice, Neil. I don't know where I am, but apparently that's north. I can't see the sun at the moment, and even if I could, I still wouldn't work it out because I'm not that bright, folks. That's why I commentate powerboat racing. I'll tell you what, I was going to do it earlier, but we'll have a quick chat to Michael Ritchie. Might get Michael just to roll in. He's just rolling in, local radio legend, just swanning around, floating in about 3 inches above the ground. Michael, first time at the powerboat races, mate. Welcome.
Thanks, Dave, and nice to meet you. And you've got a great group of people in this sport. Had the opportunity of meeting a few of the drivers and crews and families last night at the yacht club. Very friendly, and you're doing a great job, mate, so thanks for talking to me.
Oh, mate, no, our pleasure, and it's always good, and it's going to be reciprocated because I think your show, you start a new show on Monday, do you not?
Yeah, thank you, mate. Yeah, back in Adelaide after quite a break. It's about 20 years, but I love Adelaide. I've got kids here, thank goodness. I've got 2 kids. So starting my show on Monday from 1 till 2 on 5 EBI FM. That's the multicultural radio station, 103.1 FM.
103.1 FM for all you Adelaideans. Do they have a web that they can go to as well?
Yeah, you can stream. We stream all our shows on our website, which is 5ebifm.com.au. So you can actually look at our, no previous shows for me. Mine starts on Monday, so it'll be my first show on air for a long while. And I'm going to catch up with you soon because I want to talk to you about your experiences in this sport. And, of course, your other interest, which is, I think, some car racing as well.
Yeah, I'm stupid. I've told you that before. But, mate, that'd be great. We'll have a chat. I'm driving home Monday. Maybe I'll talk to you then as well. But, mate, thanks for joining us. We've got the boats heading up the back. We'll chat again later on. I want you to watch this race. I want you to enjoy it. And we're going to get Michael back a bit later on and get his thoughts on, from a layman's perspective, of what you reckon about some powerboat racing. These are the small class boats, of course. These are the entry-level feeder classes that get people into the big stuff, and we're going to see the big stuff coming out after these guys. So we'll see boats heading up into the top end of the course now, and everyone looks like they're pretty happy and lined up. The the cardiac arrest. I want to just try and get confirmation of who we've got in cardiac arrest, because I don't believe that Tiana Botic, who is on my list, is actually in the boat with Charlie Diorio. So I'll just try and get confirmation from maybe Russell on that one. In the meantime, big shout out again, all our wonderful sponsors, and the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, absolutely fantastic facility over there as well. So we've been in there for a feed, and we might have even had a light refreshment, Neil and myself. Well, Neil more than me, of course. But, it's pretty good in there, and I would highly recommend it. So, but tell you what, if you're down here in the Largs Bay Sailing Club, thank you, Russell. Russell just letting me know. Okay. Another hard name to read, Neil. I haven't met Ivan, but it's Ivan Benkotic. And that'll be wrong, but I'm sure the cardiac arrest team will square me up and let me know what Ivan's correct pronunciation of his surname is. Here we go. Boats lining up down the start straightaway here. Waiting for a white flag on the start boat. It looks like the start boat doing a standing start here. And down go the throttles. You can hear them open up, and we are racing. 30-minute race for these guys. And a great start there from everybody involved. The big Donzi down the outside, absolutely pushing. Now, he's running in a different category. He's the only 85-mile-an-hour category boat, so in theory, he should be able to push away from the rest of this pack. But the rest of the pack, they are 65 category boats, and you can dead set throw a postage stamp over them at the moment. 38 just dropping out the back door a little bit. Cardiac Arrest has a good run. We've got Nutcase on the outside of them, and the Con with a good solid run down through the dog leg. So let's have a look at this now. The beautiful Donzi machine with Chris Stavridis and George Says go up through the dog leg and do a beautiful job there. So they charge away. This Donzi machine, absolutely stunning bit of gear. I can tell you what, if you can get down into the pits and check it out, it is absolutely gorgeous. You open the engine hatch of this particular boat, and it is stunning. Running the IMCO stern drive in this particular boat, and Mercury Racing power under the hood. And you can dead set eat your dinner off the engine bay of this particular boat. It is beautiful. So 65 boats go charging up into the top corner as well, and it looks as though it's going to be the Cardiac Arrest using that pole position to their advantage. They come out with around about a 4 or 5 boat length lead over the rest of the field there, and in fact they make a little bit of a charge up the inside there of the Donzi machine. Not racing against the Donzi machine, of course, but Nutcase round the outside. So Backer and Payton, they need to get the job done here, because if they can't win this race, this will just about be their championship done and dusted. So they need to push very, very hard, but they still need to stay under that 65-mile-an-hour limit. And Shane Payton and Harry the Boatman Backer go head-to-head with the Cardiac Arrest machine. So conditions very, very smooth here at the moment for these teams, and looking very almost glass-like. But they are jumping around a little bit, so there's obviously a little bit of underlying swell there. Focusing in there on Team 38 Offshore. They're out the back door just a little bit with the Con there just in front of them. So the Con doing a very good job there. Brendan Weeks and Sophie Lancaster. And race leader, you can hear on and off the throttle there in the Donzi. So it's obviously quite a bit rougher out there than what it certainly looks from the bank here. Cardiac Arrest there. They've been shuffled back. They're around about 3 to 4 to 5 boat lengths behind the Nutcase now. So Backer and Payton pushing very, very hard. And they have to, because the championship at the moment is in the clutches of the Team Cardiac Arrest. Charlie Diorio just doing everything he can there, but he also knows that if he can bring this boat in just behind this Nutcase boat, they will win the championship. So looking good for Cardiac Arrest at the moment, but Nutcase out in front trying to do whatever they can. top turn now. And I tell you what, these boys are giving this 85-mile-an-hour category boat a run for its money. And, in fact, the Donzi running very, very wide there, and that leaves the door open there for the Nutcase boys to just, like a rat up a drain pipe, just up the inside there. So Nutcase now, Shane Payton, Harry Backer. Looking good out in front in the Razorcraft. This team actually build their own boats, the Razorcraft machine. And they test their boats on the race course, which is proving the quality of the product. And at the moment, well, I'll tell you what, if you're watching this, why wouldn't you go out and buy a Razorcraft? They are absolutely storming through there at the moment as they go up into the first entry of the dogleg. The beautiful Cootercraft as well, another factory boat that the owners of Cootercraft, of course, Mark Pajewski, who builds those boats, also races them. And the Cootercraft is a beautiful hull, great design, and very, very well built as well as they go up through the dogleg. So the 85-mile-an-hour category boat has just dropped out the back door there, and with one of our 65-mile-an-hour boats. So this is just proving how bumpy it is out there and how hard these boys are having to work. But Harry Backer and Shane Payton, they've definitely got their work cut out for them because they need to. They have to win. If they can't win, their championship's over. But they also need to rely on cardiac arrest. Well, basically not coming in behind them. They probably need cardiac arrest to even have a problem if they're going to win this championship. But at the moment, they're doing everything that they can do, and that is all they can do. So running around, we'll run through our race order at the moment. Is the Nutcase out in front, back to Donzi 66. Cardiac Arrest running into third, the Con into fourth, and Team 38 Offshore into fifth place. Picking them up now as they go down the back chute. The Team 38 Offshore, of course, you may recognise the surname, Ben Embleton, of course, race director Russell Embleton's son. And in fact, Russell himself raced one of these Spectre hulls way back in the day, back before they had petrol-operated engines. And I know that because I raced with him. It was the most frightening time of my life, being in a boat with Russell. Actually held the national speed record there for a while. I'm going to pump my own tyres up there. I did nothing. I sat in the boat, hung on and screamed while Russell did his best attempt of driving. But his son Benny doing a beautiful job in this beautiful little black Spectre. These boats have been just epic offshore race boats over many, many seasons. Cardiac Arrest, these boys, they know that the championship is within their grasp. So I've been running for about 7 minutes, 15 seconds now in this particular race. So a long way to go for these guys, and it's all about reliability offshore powerboat racing as well. You can hear the pounding that Donzi boat's taking, and unfortunately for them, the big loud exhaust you can actually hear when he backs off. But jumping out of the water and having to work very, very hard in that boat at the moment. So there's the Donzi now picking up for the viewers at home. Charging pretty hard, and the boat not looking quite as settled as what we saw at Geelong. It's just jumping around a bit, which just shows these water conditions are a little bit trickier than maybe what we saw out on Port Phillip Bay at Geelong at the previous round. This is round number 4 of the Australian Offshore Super Boat Championships, the final round. backer just giving the lugs Pier a little bit of a wave as he goes past, getting a little bit cocky as he goes down into the entrance of the dog leg now and starting to really dominate this. 65 mile an hour limited boat leading the 85 mile an hour limited boat. So that's how hard the Nutcase boys are pushing at the moment, focusing in there on the con. The con's a 20-foot Millennium hull, powered by 3.2 litre Mercury Optimax power. One of Neil Cullis's favourite engines. He loves a Mercury engine, don't you, mate? Tall, dark and handsome on any transom, he just said. Loves them. So top corner now and cardiac arrest. They've got a good little break there too on Donzi. So I'm not sure if the Donzi team are just having a little bit of trouble out there at the moment because these 65 category boats are giving them a little bit of a lesson out there at the minute. So Charlie Diorio and Ivan Benkotic down the back straight away, doing a solid job in the cardiac arrest. And as I say, leading the championship. This is the final round. It's been a long championship all the way from beautiful Newcastle, Lake Macquarie, then down through Wyndham Harbour in Victoria, then across to Geelong, and now ending up here in South Australia. Unfortunately, Redcliffe, Queensland was gazetted as being a race on the championship, but that unfortunately hasn't come to fruition. So this has ended up being the final round of the championship, which for some of the teams is great. Definitely can seal the deal for them. Other teams would have probably liked an extra race to try and gather back some points. One of those teams would be Harry Backer and Shane Payton, because they have in fact won the last 3 races in the championship. They won 3 races at Geelong, so they had a clean sweep at Geelong. But prior to that, of course, Harry racing in the first race in the Colonel in the 85 mile an hour category, so wasn't available to drive the boat. The boat was driven by one of his friends, but unfortunately took him a while to get used to the boat and couldn't really get the points on the board to try and get this championship done. But at the moment, they're out there leading at the absolute minimum. They're going to try and go 3 for 3, I would suggest, here this weekend. They get 2 opportunities at it today as they come down the front straight away. The beautiful Razor Craft running the V8 Mercury power, 4.6 litre quad overhead cam, 4 valve per cylinder Mercury V8, 300. Beautiful engine, beautiful boat. And Harry Backer and Shane Payton, the current champions, but unless something drastic happens with the cardiac arrest boat, they're not going to win the championship this year, unfortunately. But they are still in it, and still in it with a shot, and still looking at trying to take down at least this weekend's championship and bragging rights. $12 minutes, 50 seconds gone of this 30-minute race, so approaching half distance at the moment as we hear the big Donzi just coming through. That big Mercruiser sounding absolutely dynamic. Looking at a few lap times here, we've got Cardiac Arrest running around in 3:59s, Team 38 4:15s, Nutcase 3:56, and the Con in 4:11. So at the moment, Team 38 with some quicker lap times than the Con. So Embleton and Sutherland with the bit between their teeth, pushing along, trying to get the job done there on Brendan Weeks and Sophie Lancaster in the con machine. Team 38 would be the oldest boat in the fleet, and these young fellas having a real go. Liam Sutherland, a former champion, racing with his father in the Giggling machine, the beautiful 21-foot force hull with their 250 XS Mercury. But Big Mark Sutherland not here this season, unfortunately for us, but Liam jumping in there with Ben, doing a fantastic job. So race leader at the moment, as we're approaching the 15-minute mark, is the Nutcase. Back to the cardiac arrest, the Donzi into third, Con into fourth, and Team 38 Offshore. But, as I said, Team 38 lapping consistently, running through there in a 4:02 on that lap, a 4:15 for the Con. So, Team 38 Offshore on the hard charge and trying to catch the Con. This could turn into a little bit of a drag race to the line between these two boats. Just trying to pick up Team 38 Offshore on the course. I can't. Up there they are. Is that them across the back? No, where are they? 38, looks like they've come to a stop. Neil might be able to just focus in on that for me. Just right up at that red turn, boy, where you're facing right now, mate. It's Team 38. Look like they're stopping the water there, mate. So as we see Nutcase down the front straight, a little bit of a battle going on here between two different class boats. Cardiac arrest on the inside, Donzi on the outside. Donzi really seemed to be struggling with the conditions today. And as we watch cardiac arrest come through, and just having a look in the background there, I think that might be 38 in the background there. Can't quite pick it up. Yeah, and there we go. So my cameraman Paulie just found them for us. Thanks, Paulie. There is Team 38 Offshore. Unfortunately, they have got drama. So the young guns are doing so well. They're actually making some ground, but unfortunately 38 look like they're still under their own steam, but looks as though they'll be heading back into the pit area. So Benny Embleton, Liam Sutherland, sadly, this particular race done and dusted for them. So 38 heads back into the pits. Donzi goes down through the northern end of the course. We are 17 and a half minutes into this 30-minute event. On the inside of them, cardiac arrest, still pushing along very, very hard. Ivan Benkotic and Charlie Diorio. And I'll apologise now for my pronunciation of Ivan's surname. I'm sure I'll get squared up at the end of this. The Donzi now starting to push along very, very rapidly. So George says he's just got the bit between the teeth. They've managed to get around the outside of the cardiac arrest. Chris Stavridis hanging on for dear life at the moment. I think George has definitely found a little bit of pace out of this boat, and they're taking some big hits as they fire down the back straight there. As I said earlier on, that boat Beautifully turned out. The con just running through there. They're running up into 4th place outright, 3rd place in 65 at the minute, as they head into the entry of the dogleg turn. Beautiful little 21-foot Millennium hull. This is a former ski racing boat. An old mate of mine, Herbie Brennan, used to race this boat, and it used to have 2 engines on the back of it, would you believe? Quite a small boat for a twin rig. Back to a single rig now. It's probably a little bit more sensible. Cardiac arrest up the back straight away. So Ivan Benkotic and Charlie Diorio doing a nice job there, and they know that they just need to come home with a wet sail. They don't need to beat the nutcase machine. This championship, they can absolutely taste it at the moment. They're running a very wide line. I'd be a little bit more inclined if I was in that situation to be coming right hard on the pins there. But I mean, the reality is they don't need to beat these 65 boats. They're the only boat running in 85, so they don't need to do anything silly. But, yeah, I don't know. When you're a boat racer, there's a little bit of pride comes into it. You don't want the lower class beating you either. So I'm be pretty sure they'll try and round up the nutcase machine, which they seem to be doing at the moment as they push along nice and hard. So cardiac arrest now. They let them go. No reason for them to go chasing boats in a higher class. They need to bring this boat home because this is all about the championship for them now. With Diorio and Benkotic. Beautifully turned out Cootercraft hull. And running the Yamaha pair on that particular boat. Yamaha, ha, ha. Big shout out from the Cootercraft team. Mark's just sent me a message. He's sorry he couldn't be here. He should be sorry too. At least some of your boats are here, Mark, doing the business. And he says he's moving into another class next season, so that'll be interesting to watch. I'll lean on him for the information, folks. We'll try and get that for you before the end of the weekend. I'm sure it'll be some sort of big Russian secret. Pete Massner comes flying in my car. Hopefully he didn't get a ticket. All right, cardiac arrest up the back straight away. Still Nutcase leading this with 22 minutes and 40 seconds run of this particular event. And Shane Payton and Harry Backer, they'll be ruining the decision not to run the boat early in the season because they've come home with a wet sail. There's no doubt about that. They've won the last three. They look like they're probably going to win this one. Not that I'm going to put the commentator's curse on them. I'll touch some wood for their sake because it's never over until that overly endowed lady sings that song. But 23 minutes gone. We haven't got far to go as the con makes its way down into the dogleg. They're running in fourth place, or third in their class, fourth outright. And starting to take a few hits down there, the Nutcase Machine boat. Harry Backer and Shane Payne. They sit very well forward in this boat. It's got a very short foredeck on it. But, I reckon the faster you go, the closer the waves would look to coming at you in that boat. But they certainly know the boat very well. The current championship leaders. And look at this now. The Donzi comes past. Thank you, Peter. Comes past and breaks into the lead. So, were they just foxing? I don't know. But they've certainly found the throttle now. And the big Donzi charging hard. George says. And Chris Stavridis. George says isn't George's, well, it's part of his name, but to be honest, I'm not even sure George can pronounce his own surname, so he told me to just run with says. It's got, I think it has got actually every letter of the alphabet in it. So even on the boat, he's just got George says. So I'm tipping I'm not getting my tongue around it anytime soon. Back straight away, not long to run for these guys now, and stick around, folks, because the big boys will be coming out at 1 p.m. for the final round of the Australian Offshore Super Boat Championships. Big shout out again to all our wonderful supporters here. The Adelaide Speedboat Club, absolutely awesome. Don't forget in November they have their big Marge Watson and Darwin Cup meeting out there at the Adelaide Speedboat Club. One of the best speedboat clubs in Australia, if not the world. Fantastic viewing and blown boat racing. For those of you that have never seen supercharged alcohol boats running at about 150 miles an hour with 2,000 horsepower, yeah, it definitely gets you excited. And they've got their meeting coming up in November. Date to be confirmed, but keep your eye on the Adelaide Speedboat Club's Facebook page or website, or both. And, of course, hotly supported by Simons Clark Logistics, our man Davey Clark, who's he's the king of Adelaide, I think. He walks around about 3 inches above the ground. He doesn't touch the ground, David Clark. And he's been instrumental in helping this race meeting come together as well, both last year and this year. Unfortunately, we're a bit lighter on for boats this year. It's been a very, very hard season on boats, and we've got a lot of broken equipment sitting in sheds now. And unfortunately, a few guys haven't actually made it to this final round, which is part of the deal with offshore. It's very, very hard on the gear. It's hard on the bodies. Quite smooth here today, but gee, on a rough day, these guys cop an absolute beating, and so does the equipment. So the big Donzi puts itself into its rightful place into the front of the deal now. 27 minutes gone, so only about 3 minutes left to run in this race. And a race leader, Donzi, boat number 66, charging it down the front straight away now. Do you know why they call him a Donzi, Neil? Did you know where the name Donzi comes from? So Don Aronow, who was the builder of Cigarette, Team USA, Donzi, all the famous offshore powerboats. He was the king of offshore powerboat racing. He started a business. He started a lot of boat businesses. One of them was called Donzi, and he was called Donzi because his girlfriend at the time used to call him Donzi. There you go. Bet you didn't know that, mate. Don Aronow was subsequently shot in 1987 out the front of his boat building business. Some say there may have been some mafia involved. 7 bullets in the chest. Who knew? The Donzi, a race leader, up into the dog leg now. So they've overhauled a race leader in Supersport 65, which is the Nutcase Machine, Harry Backer and Shane Payton. Harry the boatman. Harry a very good boat builder out of Melbourne. He builds these Razorcraft boats. He also does a lot of custom work for a lot of the big cruisers like Maritimo and Riviera. And does a great job campaigning this boat. He always said if he wins a championship, he's going to move up into another class. So he won the championship last year. He's come and done this class this year, but I reckon you might keep an eye on these guys next season. They may jump up into that 85 category. 85 category has been a little bit light on this year, but I think next year we're probably looking at seeing a few new boats coming through. And from what Mark Pajewski's telling me from Cootercraft, we may see him in a big boat. So that will be very exciting. Donzi 66, 29 minutes a run in this race. I think we may see a checkered flag on this lap. So race leader is Donzi. Back to the nutcase. Running in second place in 65. Third outright is the Cardiac Arrest. The Con running into third in 65 and fourth outright. And with about one lap to go, these teams pushing along. Nutcase. They have to win this one, and even that probably won't be enough because the Cardiac Arrest, they go flying past the Con. So have a look at the pace the Nutcase has got on board there as they go past and put a lap on Brendan Weeks and Sophie Lancaster in the Con. The only worrying part about this is for Shane Payton and Harry Backer is what's that GPS going to say when it gets back to the officials. Let's hope the number is no more than 65 because if it is, you're out. And they may as well hand the championship over to Charlie Diorio and Ivan Benkotic. So going to keep an eye on the finish boat here. I can't actually see it from where I am. But I would... Oh, yes, I can. It's right in front of me. Stop looking, Neil. It's in front of me. No, not on the screen. Donzi coming down, looking at the finish boat there. I'm expecting a checkered flag. We're over 31 minutes gone in this race. They come charging. Geez, they've found some pace too, these boys. Absolutely wringing the neck. Checkered flag comes out. And it's going to be Donzi Racing, George Says, and Chris Stavridis flying down the front straight away. Let's hope they don't break. Let's hope that number doesn't say over 85 either. Here we go. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Donzi Racing takes the win. George Says and Chris Stavridis. Race leaders, and they will be race winners, subject to GPS checks, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Team Razorcraft, taking the win in the Supersport 65 mile an hour category with Harry Backer and Shane Payton. Con will come through to complete the course. A lap down for the Con. Brendan Weeks and Sophie Lancaster, though, their championship points will look pretty good after this. Been very reliable over the weekend. Had to do a wheel bearing on the trailer yesterday. It's not a boat race unless you do a wheel bearing on your trailer. The Con comes through, picks up fourth place. And the final boat to reach that beautiful checkered flag. Ivan Benkotic and Charlie Diorio in the Cardiac Arrest. And I tell you what, that's not going to hurt their championship chances one little bit. Great effort for them. More big points in the bag. And they're going to be just about impossible to beat for the championship from here on in. Well done to the team at Cardiac Arrest. Unfortunately, Team 38 Racing are a DNF on this occasion. So that wraps up race number one for our Supersports boats at 1 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. We will see the Supercat Extreme category come out and Supercat Outboard. The big bangers are coming out to play, ladies and gentlemen. That was just a little more sell, just a little tender taster for what's about to come. So we will be back very soon with more racing. 1 o'clock. That's Adelaide time too, folks. For those of you in the eastern states, it's 1:30. So jump on board. It's a half an hour difference. Had to think about that for a while. All right, folks, we will be back with more racing in around about 15 minutes. We'll see you then.
For the fans of the popular Super Sport 65 category, runaway points leaders Nutcase were looking to stamp their names firmly on the championship trophy. Below a string of new and return teams to the series were going to ensure that they'd have their work cut out for them over 2 days of action at Largs Bay.
For Simons Clark Logistics, here we are at North Haven in a beautiful Adelaide, South Australia, as we look at poor old Benny Embleton there, along with his co-pilot Liam Sutherland, unfortunately unable to start this race in the Team 38 boat. Was to be their first race, but some gremlins in that boat stopping them from getting up and away. So we have a race start and we go on board with championship leaders, and these guys cannot lose the championship from here, so they are out to have a fat old time. We are on board with the Razorcraft, the Nutcase machine, with Harry Backer and Shane Payton doing a fantastic job, and certainly not getting beaten up as much as we've seen them get beaten up in the likes of Wyndham Harbour, where they got absolutely poleaxed. A lot smoother here today. Brendan Weeks in the con. That's the 21-foot Heartbeat hull running the 250 XS Mercury Optimax on the back of that particular boat. A former ski race boat. Formerly ran 2 engines on that boat in ski racing. It was also great to see this man back as well. Mr. Loose Wind himself, Stevie Polton, a very, very passionate racer. He's in a 21-foot Excite hull. The Loose Wind running also a 250 XS Mercury. And these guys running Yamaha power. And it's great to see Charlie Diorio and Greggy Walters doing a great job. In the end, it was a nutcase. Back to the cardiac arrest, the con, the Loose Wind and the Team 38 Offshore. Race number 2 for Super Sport 65 mile an hour category. These boats, of course, limited. Looking back to the beautiful Largs Pier, and what a stunning day and what a stunning venue for offshore powerboat racing. How have we not come and raced here before? I do not know. I want answers. But this is absolutely fantastic as the flag drops, and a clean start for everybody. In fact, a cardiac arrest pokes his nose into the lead, but Backer and Payton, they're running hard down on the inside and running the tight line. Great to see Benny Embleton and Liam Sutherland getting up and about in the Team 38 Offshore. Very emotional time for Ben Embleton's father, of course, race director Russell Embleton, who in fact in the late 90s, early 2000s campaigned this exact same hull, the Spectre hull, and did a fantastic job in that boat. So it's great to see the generations coming through this sport as well. You can see the conditions looking very, very nice, a little bit of sea mist, and you can see one of the Super Sport 85 boats on the outside there. That's the Colonel racing with the Kelly boys, having a good little battle there with the Nutcase machine, who's the leader of the Super Sport 65 category. The Spectre running through there. These are the young fellas, the 2 young guns. Liam Sutherland, of course, you'll know his name because his father, Mark Sutherland, and him running around together in their Giggling machine, the Force hull, last season's champions, and doing a fantastic job. Liam now jumping in with Benny Embleton as Diorio and Walters go down through the bottom turn in this beautiful Cootercraft bad boy machine, the cardiac arrest. So doing a fantastic job, and they're holding out Brendan Weeks in the con. And race number 2 winners, again, Nutcase back to Loose Wind at Team 38 Offshore, the con, and unfortunately cardiac arrest having a DNF. On board now here at North Haven, and have a look at the boys in the Nutcase, the Shackers, as they're running alongside the start boat. Big Barney Patterson in the Australian Offshore Powerboat Club's start boat there, and also doubles as the rescue boat. Barney doing a fantastic job, does lots of the starts, not only for offshore powerboat racing, for a lot of the powerboat racing throughout Australia. Now, this is the difference you'll see between a 65 mile an hour category boat and two of the 85 mile an hour category boats. That's the difference between 65 and 85, as we see the Colonel with Mick and Jason Kelly pulling away for Hornet Property Services. And on the outside of them, some boys that have stepped down a class into the 85 mile an hour category as Craig Dove and Steve Lancaster in the DLR, the big tin can on the outside, doing a fantastic job. As we go on board with the Razor craft, Harry the boatman backer and Shane Payton has jumped in behind the wheel in this boat as well. Now we go on board with Benny Embleton on the wheel, and have a look at the wheel work from the young fella here, just really giving it everything, and Liam Sutherland just barking the instructions at him, giving him all the advice that he can. Very, very experienced navigator, Liam Sutherland, also a very good ski racer, this young fella. Benny Embleton in his first ever race and doing a beautiful job, boat looking sensational, and I'm sure a very proud father in the stands here as well. Nutcase takes the win. Back to the con, the loose win, Team 38 Offshore into fourth place.
First race in the boat, obviously. Yesterday, Arvo, when we went to put the boat in for a test run, we were having battery issues, alternator issues. So unfortunately a DNS for race 1, which is a bit unfortunate, but we were back for race 2. Running without an alternator and without battery, we were keeping trim action to a minimum and stuff like that, but we circulated and we were in second until the last corner, and those battery issues sort of came back to ruin it a little bit for us. But we circulated, we picked up a podium, and a lot of learning today, and overall, really happy day for us.
The season was a good start. It was a very good start at Lake Mac. We got 3 from 3, and I seriously didn't think that we'd do that again. And then Wyndham Harbour came along. We had a few dramas with Wyndham Harbour. Geelong came along, and before you know it, 3 from 3 again. We're leading the championship, which is, I just said to Shane, let's just go and cruise it and have a good time. And then before you know it, 3 from 3 again. So we've got three from 3s.
We had people screaming and yelling from the pier and then all along the beach. Like, it was just a fantastic event to be in.
But I got what I came for, and that's the championship trophy. So that's all that matters at the moment. And that's just this little pretty trophy here.
Yeah, some of these are good too.
Yeah, some of these are good. First and first. And the John and Barbara Gilbert trophy, that's an honour as well to have. Look, I said to myself, I'm not going to go up an upper class until we get a championship. So now we've got a championship, so now to the drawing board for a bigger, faster boat. So we'll see what happens next season.
After 4 rounds, the Supersport 65 season saw Harry Backer and Shane Payton claim 3 round wins and their maiden title comfortably over Charlie Diorio and Greg Walters.
So looking across beautiful Port Adelaide here, and the conditions are still absolutely stunning here at North Haven. As we look back towards the Largo Pier, we have the Mantis on the inside. These boys have already sewn up the championship. DLR Offshore on the outside of them, and unfortunately a slow start for TCR as we see those boys fire down into turn number 1. Plenty of spray and the Mantis boat. This is going to be the last race for Anthony Defina. He has owned this boat for nigh on 10 years, and it's certainly been an absolutely epic boat. It's a very, very well known boat throughout Australia. It's one of the fastest 600 boats with the championships to prove it. We go on board now. So Defina there looks very relaxed. It is very smooth conditions for these boats. We've seen these boys get beaten up big time in this boat. We've seen them roll this boat over up in Queensland a couple of years back. But at the moment, it all looks like a very relaxed show in the Mantis machine. Very, very quick boat indeed. I can't see the TCR machine in shot at the moment, but I do believe that it sounds a little bit off song as we watch DLR go down through the bottom turn. Craig Dove's an interesting guy. Still holds the world record for water skiing from Tasmania to Melbourne. So Craig's definitely a hard charger. He absolutely loves his water sports. He's a very good water ski racer, and now he's got into the offshore fold as well. Steve Lancaster carved his name as a ski race boat driver. In the end, though, it was the Mantis over the DLR, and unfortunately a DNF for the TCR Racing. Race number 2 for Supercat Outboard and the Mantis, who took race number 1 and are already the championship winners, but they're looking to try and bed down this Oz1 trophy, the overall trophy for offshore powerboat racing. They currently have the Oz1 plate on the side of their boat, and they want to try and retain it. 222 have had a few problems in the Supercat Extreme category, and that's left the door open for this boat, the current Oz1 champion, to try and bag another Oz1 championship for Anthony Defina and Matt Kelly. Can they get the job done here? Only time will tell on this one, but they certainly know how to do it. They've done it before, and this boat is a very, very quick machine. Great to see these boys have worked hard on this boat. This is Stephen Kelly and Scotty Richardson there in the TCR Offshore Boat 161. This runs the earlier style 3.2 litre Mercury Optimax strokers on the transom of this Doug Wright design AMT hull, and it's a very, very quick boat indeed. I'd love to see a pair of the current model V8s on the back of that boat. I think it'd make it a very, very quick machine indeed. Have a look at the throttle work going on there from Anthony Defina. Even in these smooth conditions, still just having to throttle off when those propellers come out of the water. Of course, these boats, when they jump out of the water, the propellers break free of the water, and you can over-rev the engines. When they re-land into the water, you've got to be back hard on the throttles, or else the propellers will be going slower than the boat speed and actually trip the back of the boat up and duff the nose in. Unlikely to happen in these conditions, but they get the job done very, very nicely. Mantis takes the win over TCR and DLR into third place. Race number 3 here at North Haven for our Offshore Superboat Championships here at beautiful Port Adelaide, and this is the boat that Anthony Defina says goodbye to today. This boat's been sold on to another team, and well, Anthony Defina, it'll be bittersweet because he's got an unlimited boat coming into the shed, but I'm sure that he'll be very, very sad and sorry to see this beautiful Saracen hull go, but it'll still be around the circuit and it'll still be racing, and I can guarantee you, I know the guys that have bought it, and they'll still probably be winning as well. So it's great to see that the boat getting moved on into another team, a fresh team, and it's going to be exciting to see it go around next season. TCR on the outside, these boys have done a great job. Mantis just cruising through now. These boys will be enjoying this. I think Anthony Defina may just have a little bit of a tear in the eye when this one finishes up, no matter where they come in the field. The DLR doing a great job. These guys have spoken about retiring this boat back into the Super Sport 85 category for next season. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. It is a little off the pace, just being that little bit heavier with the older technology engines on the back of it. But Mantis takes the win, takes the championship. TCR into second place, DLR into third, and you can see the boys there in DLR just giving a little clap there to the Mantis. Anthony Defina's final race in that boat. A bittersweet day for him.
Boat just ran like a dream. It's all good speed, 110 plus down the straights there. It's a good weekend.
Me and Steve are wrapped with that. In our first year, we're coming second. So, yeah, once the Mantis sorted some stuff out and started to take off on us, we just thought, well, we just need to finish. And we just backed it off a little bit, and we were just running around and circulating, and yeah, it was good.
They were under immense pressure at the midpoint of the season, but Anthony Defina and Matt Kelly prevailed in the end to claim back-to-back titles in Supercat Outboard, whilst a late season surge by Steve Lancaster and Craig Dove delivered them a popular second in the championship.
Well, Team 38 Racing, boys, it's been a long season. We come here, final round in South Australia. It looks very nice out there. You've been working pretty hard on the boat, Benny.
Yeah, we have. It's been first season, so of course there's some teething issues and lots to learn, but between me and Liam, we've worked hard and I think we're getting there.
Liam, you're a former championship winner yourself, mate. Have you been able to bestow a little bit of intelligence on the young fella here?
I don't know about intelligence, but I've bestowed something, and we're going to be looking much better for next year.
Mate, you boys are trying a different prop. You're going out for a test this morning?
Yeah, we've got a couple of things to try this morning, so we'll shoot out shortly and see what we can find.
It's a hard class, Liam. With these boats, you're restricted to a speed, right? So you're looking for maximum acceleration plus not breaking out. Is that a tricky balance to find?
Yeah, you just got to work out. You've got to find a prop that just does exactly the speed limit pretty much, which is difficult, and you need a lot of money to go through props, but we've got a few lying around, so we'll find something that works.
All right, we'll try and get a sponsor on board for you boys next season. Hey, good luck. Hopefully you can win the final round.
Thanks, Bisho. We'll have a crack.
Good boys.
Cheers.
Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, talk about V8 Supercar style pit setups. This is Team Hornet Racing. Angelique is here, the new coffee machine, folks. Angelique, I'll have a white cappuccino with one, thanks, Dale.
Coming right up, love.
Beautiful setup, this team. New team on the scene. Well, not a new team, new boat, new truck, doing a fantastic job. And this is how they live the life of luxury. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the beautiful Largs Bay Sailing Club here, round number 4, the final round of the Australian Offshore Super Boat Championships. This is day number 1, and we've got the big bangers coming out onto the water. Boats that we're looking for will be the Mojo with Stewie Eustace and Todd Kelly, Venturi Offshore with Anthony DeFina and Matthew Kelly, and Hornet Racing, Mick Kelly and Jason Kelly. Boats that we're looking for in the Supercat 600 or Supercat outboard category. Steve Lancaster and Scott Kelly in the Kess Racing, Team 801. TCR Offshore, Scotty Richardson and Stephen Kelly. Outside of them will be the Sting, Mikey Ratcliffe and Carl Wall. Outside of them, DLR Offshore, Craig Dove and Lachlan Dove. And unfortunately, Superstition, who are on my list, but not here this weekend, Neil. So that will be your race order for this particular one. Big shout out to the Largs Bay Sailing Club, along with North Haven Marine, Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, the Beach Haven Cafe, the Adelaide Speedboat Club, Simons Clark Logistics, and 35 South Marina. Big shout out to all of those wonderful supporters here. We're at the Largs Bay Sailing Club, and I tell you what, you're going to have to drag me out of here with a can opener, I reckon. It is absolutely sensational here. And when this race finishes, I'll be going down to the bar to catch up with everybody and see what they reckon about their race day. But certainly if you're here in Adelaide and you haven't been able to get here today, highly recommend you try and get down here tomorrow. Watch here at the Largs Bay Sailing Club or on that beautiful pier out there. I'm sure everybody out on the pier is getting an absolutely epic view of the racing. Okay, what have we got here on the water now? We've got the big bangers heading out onto the water. What does the championship look like? I hear you all asking me. Well, let me put my glasses on and I'll tell you. I now have my glasses on. Okay, so in the Supercat Extreme category, current race championship leaders are Mick and Jason Kelly in the Hornet Racing. They're sitting on 268 points. Now, second place at the moment is the Boost Mobile, the 222 machine. Now, unfortunately, or Mobile X, I should say, changed its name halfway through the season, on 214 points. Now, they're not here this weekend. That leaves the door just a little bit ajar for Anthony DeFina and Matthew Kelly on 206 points in the Venturi Offshore, the blue machine. And then the Mojo sitting on 193 points with Todd Kelly and Stuart Eustace. So Stuart Eustace, the boat owner, Todd Kelly on throttle duties here this weekend in this particular boat, the Mojo machine, former Maritimo. Actually, it's a former Riviera, former Good Guys, former Mega Bulk Fuels, you name it. It's been called everything, this boat. It's been around a very long time. It's a very good boat. And these boys have got it singing along very nicely. Next boat that we're looking at there is Hornet Racing, the Kelly boys. Picking up, just coming through behind them is the Venturi. And, of course, our outboard boats, Supercat outboards, and we'll have a quick look at their championship situation as well. At the moment, the Sting sitting well and truly on top of the points table with Carl Wall and Mike Ratcliffe. They're currently sitting on 316 points. Behind them is the DLR, Craig and Lachlan Dove, probably a little bit of a surprise packet for this season. That's the boat that's just coming past the Sailing Club at the moment. We'll pick that up on screen for you as well as we just look at the Sting going through there. Two boats we can see there, the 801 Kess Racing and TCR on the inside of them, and then Sting pulling up alongside them now as well. But DLR actually sitting second in the championship, 253 points. So effectively, Carl Wall and Mickey Ratcliffe just need to make no mistakes here this weekend, bring that boat home, and the championship will be theirs for the J.R. Gilbert Trophy. And sitting in third place, it's actually TCR with Scotty Richardson and Steve Kelly. That boat, it's had a pretty good year, I'd have to say. It's got better and better every race that it's been out. Unfortunately, it had an engine failure at Geelong, but they were running very strongly. They were up in the top two places at Geelong when that engine failed for them. Kess Racing, the 801, probably should have been a little bit higher up the order. Really good effort there from Stevie Lancaster and Scotty Kelly in this brand new boat to that team. This is, of course, the former Mantis boat that has done so well and won so many championships. But these boys jumping in the boat. But unfortunately, a rollover in the boat at Wyndham Harbour sees them down the order a little bit with 212 points. Superstition boat, Tom Barry Cotter and Georgie Collins, not here this weekend, only ran the Geelong round, and they had an engine failure in that boat as well, so not here this weekend, only sitting on 31 points. So this is going to be an interesting race between these guys. The big boats, well, they're all out to fight. The Hornet, I spoke to Jason Kelly this morning, did an interview with him, and he said, well, we know we've basically got the championship in the bag. It's not a completely done deal, but he says they're here to race. They're not here to just pussyfoot around and just gather points. They're not interested in doing that. They want to race and race hard. So you'll see the Hornet really lighting up. Mojo, of course, V8 supercar driver and Bathurst winner Todd Kelly in that particular boat. The owner of the boat, Stewie Eustace, he's doing steering duties. Todd, of course, on the throttles and the trim of the boat. And as I said a little bit earlier on, this is a boat that's been around a long, long time. These guys have picked this boat up, and it's certainly been a very competitive boat over many years. It has, in fact, won championships with the Fryer boys. It was originally a Class 2 8-litre boat. It used to run a single 8V92 Detroit diesel engine in it when it was originally built to run in the Class 2 category, but now, of course, running twin 850 horsepower Maritimo, or Johnny Barbagallo race engines, I should say. And it is a very, very quick boat indeed. All right, we have a line up. And we have a flag drop. We are racing in the final round here. One race for these guys today. They need to get it done. The Mojo gets an absolute barnstormer of a start. The Venturi on the outside of them. Hornet round the outside. And they'll come down into this dog leg. And it is going to get wild down into here, ladies and gentlemen. There's over 5,000 horsepower. Tips into the dog leg now. Venturi drops into the wash now. Hornet running up into the dog leg, but it's the Mojo at the moment. Stewie Eustace and Todd Kelly, TK, run up through the right-hander, and everyone gets through there nice and clean. The outboard boats now start. Flag drops for them. TCR gets an absolute storming start as well. 801 goes on there. The Sting down the outside, and DLR right in the mix there as well as they get up and away. And they'll storm down in the dogleg. Keep an eye on these guys. It is going to be on through this dogleg section of the course. The Sting running that wide line there. 801. These two boats came together around number 2, resulting in the 801 going upside down. But they get up through the dog leg, so they'll be a little bit, I reckon, a bit nervous as they go up through that top turn. 801 and Sting, but it is TCR that leads down into the northern end of the course. Back shoot now, and it is Mojo. Back to Hornet, back to Venturi. And the Mojo sounding absolutely stunning now. These boys pushing very, very hard indeed. Todd Kelly nearly bending those throttle sticks at the moment. He's pushing them down so hard. And the Mojo are here to race, ladies and gentlemen. Up into the southern end of the course. 30-minute race. Picking up on our Supercat outboard category boats now, and we've got the TCR leading back to the 801. So Lancaster and Kelly doing a fantastic job there, but it's Kelly and Richardson that are leading. So the father in front, the son behind at the moment in that particular arrangement. The Mojo now. Kelly puts the hammers down. Hornet running into second place. They won't like this at all. These Hornet boys are here to run. Jason Kelly and Mick Kelly. It's an uncle-nephew combination in this boat. Oh, a little bit of a hook there from the Mojo as they come down through. Hornet running to the outside of them. This is absolutely on at the moment. Venturi just looking for a little bit of pace. Anthony Defina coming out of the throttles there as they just turn the boat into the the left-hand turn. Now up into the right-hand turn for the dogleg. You can hear Defina just really stabbing at the throttles. We've seen this a bit out of this boat this season. I'm just wondering whether he's a little bit gun-shy. What's happening up in the top corner? We'll have a bit of a look there, but we're watching our outboard boats coming down now. TCR, new engine on this boat after an engine failure at the previous round, number 3 at Geelong. TCR doing a great job over the Kess Racing, and the Sting on the outside. And the Sting boys in a position that they are not used to. Carl Wall and Mickey Ratcliffe doing it for Lockie out there. But running in third place at the moment. They won't be too happy about that. Through the dogleg, Kess Racing doing a fantastic job. And the battle is on between Kess Racing and the TCR machine. Sting goes up through the dogleg as well. Mickey Radcliffe, Carl Wall. Now at the back chute, the Hornet Racing. We go on board with the Sting for those of you watching at home now. Running up to 155. Just about to crack the old 100 mile an hour mark, 160 kilometre an hour mark in the Sting now. And they are busy. That boat powered by a pair of 4.6 litre quad overhead cam 4-valve per cylinder Mercury race engines. Tall, dark and handsome on any transom. Front straight away now, and it is the Mojo. Todd Kelly, Stewie Eustace out in front, doing it in fine style at the moment, but they're being hunted by a hard-charging Hornet machine. These two boats quite different in their configurations. The Mojo, of course, running the twin 850 horsepower, big block carburetted Johnny Barbagallo race engines through shaft drives. The Hornet Racing machine running a pair of 525 Mercruiser racing engines. Mercury number 6 stern drives on the back of this boat. Currently the most beautifully turned out offshore race boat in Australia. The Kellys have always turned out beautiful race boats. This one no exception. Probably the best one yet, I'd have to say. Venturi now, they come down into the dogleg turn. Matthew Kelly, Anthony Defina. There's a lot of Kellys out there, folks. You're probably thinking, are they all related? Well, they all are, bar one. The only one that's not related to all the other ones is Todd Kelly, who's the one in Mojo. So Todd's the odd Kelly out there. The rest of the Kellys are all related. You've got Steve Kelly, who's in the lead boat here, the TCR. He's the father of Jason and Scott. Jason's running in the Hornet. Scott's running in Kess Racing 801, which is the boat just behind. Now the Sting seem to have managed to poke their nose up the inside of the 801, so this is absolutely on. A bad start for the Sting, but 801 now coming back at them as they come past the Largs Pier. It is absolutely on between these two boats. As I mentioned before, these two boats had it coming together at round number 2 at Wyndham Harbour, and that resulted in the 801 going upside down. And now they're side by side again. I reckon there'll be a few nerves in the cockpits of those boats. Mojo up through the top turn now, pushing along still. Race time 23 minutes and 14 seconds left to run. Beautiful images coming through here from GP Hydro live streaming. We love you, Scotty. Front straight away now. And the Mojo coming down at this Largs Bay. Past the Largs Pier. Down to the Largs Sailing Club. And sounding absolutely on it at the moment. So Kelly and Eustace still holding off Mick Kelly and Jason Kelly. So Jason is Scott's son. Mick is Scott's dad's brother. Are you following me, boys? There'll be a test on this later. Venturi now, boat number 5. Defina really backing out of the throttles there in a big way as he comes down into the corners. Still trying to get his head around this boat. For those of you watching at home, we go on board now with the Sting. Over 100 miles an hour now with the Sting. 162 kilometres an hour for the yellow rocket ship now as they try and fend off the hard-charging 801 Kess Racing. A little bit of cloud cover just coming through there, and a little bit of sun glare off the water as well as we see the DLR. These boys currently running second in the championship, doing a good job. And we have a new race leader no, we don't. TCR comes back at them. So a lot of cat and mouse being played here in the Supercat outboard category. And TCR, Scotty Richardson from ASAT Catering and Stephen Kelly charge hard up the front straight away, past the lugs, pier, and into the dog legs. So TCR doing a beautiful job. Up through the top turn, and it is the Mojo still working hard, trying to hold off this hard-charging Hornet machine. Mick and Jason Kelly. Mojo down the front straight away now as they come past the lugs, pier. Race time. Around about 20 minutes left to run, so we've been running about 10 minutes. In fact, coming up to 10 minutes now. So 10 minutes done. A third race distance we're at. Todd Kelly, Stewie Eustace leading this one over Jason Kelly and Michael Kelly in Hornet Racing. A reasonable gap has been opened up now. Mojo. So Kelly and Eustace starting to get a handle on this boat. It's their first season in this boat. And they're really starting to feel at home driving it. In fact, all 3 of these boats is first season for these teams. And I'd have to say that the team that's probably adapted more quickly than anybody else would be the Hornet Racing team. Defina much smoother down through the dogleg this time around, so he's starting to get a feel for it as well. No wild stabbing at the throttle as we saw on the previous couple of laps. DLR, they come down the front straight away. Craig and Lockie Dove, father-son combination in this boat. And the Mojo fires it up the back straight away. Todd Kelly, Stewie Eustace really coming to terms with this beautiful Riviera Maritimo / hull. Those Johnny Barbagallo race engines sounding absolutely dynamic as it fires up the back chute. Okay, new race leader now for our Supercat outboard category, and it is the Sting. They've poked their nose into the lead here. So Mickey Ratcliffe and Carl Wall doing it for Lockie. They break into the lead now. TCR, fantastic run here from Scotty Richardson and Steve Kelly. They're running the older engines. It's a pair of 3.2 litre Mercury Optimax strokers on the back of this boat, as opposed to the other 2 boats that are running the bigger 4.6 litre V8 Mercury. So Kelly and Richardson doing a fantastic job to hold out the 801 at the moment. Big shout out to all our wonderful sponsors, the Largs Bay Sailing Club, North Haven Marine, the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, Beach Haven Cafe, the Adelaide Speedboat Club, Simons Clark Logistics, and 35 South Marina, as we watch the Hornets still in hot pursuit of the Mojo. Where's the Mojo gone? Venturi come down through the dog leg. And I'm not seeing Mojo, boys. Trying to pick them up on the course. Oh, there they are. I thought I'd lost them. We've found them. Sorry to give Christy a heart attack at home. Sorry, Don. But they still pushing on. 16 minutes and 30 seconds left to run in this one. Thought they'd gone for a beer at the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, but they're back. They're still in front. And Todd Kelly and Stewie Eustace doing an amazing job in this boat. They've really come to grips with driving it. Back straight and race leader now in our Supercat outboard category as they come down through the southern end of the course. It's the Sting, Mickey Radcliffe, Carl Wall. And these guys just rounding up the DLR there, so Team DLR just having a lap put on them there. And now we focus in on this battle at the head of the pack between Mojo Racing and the Hornet. Sting now down through the pier end of the course. And they're getting a little bit of a break now, starting to show a little bit of the dominance that they've shown all season. Mojo pushing along hard, doing everything they need to do. They really probably need Hornet to have a problem if they're going to try and climb over the top of them in terms of the championship. But at the moment they're interested in the race. They're starting to catch some lap traffic now as well, so this is where it could get a little bit interesting. Kelly and Eustace here just coming up on the back of the 801 with Lancaster and Kelly. Hornet just heading up through the dog leg as well, so still pushing along. Coming up to half race distance, in fact just over half race distance now, 14 minutes, 19 seconds left to run in this half an hour race. Anthony DeFina still having a fair stab at those throttles up through the dog leg. I don't think he's horribly happy with the way the boat's turning in there at the moment. Down through the bottom turn goes the Venturi boat. Absolutely stunning boat. This is a former Victory Team boat out of Dubai. It's a full carbon fibre Victory Team boat. One of the most beautifully turned out offshore race boats on the planet. And we're so lucky to have it here racing in Australia. They go around the outside of the DLR, Dove and Dove. They're currently second in the championship, and they're just trying to salvage valuable points here. They're running an older, smaller, heavier boat with less horsepower than everybody else, and they come into this final round second in the championship. An amazing effort there from the DLR racing team. Have a look at a few lap times here while we're going around, and we can see Mojo running around in 244s, Hornet in 247s, and Venturi Offshore in 301s on average. So certainly Mojo. In fact, we see a good lap time just coming up on the screen there from Venturi, 2:31. But the quickest lap, last lap, was actually Hornet Racing. So Hornet on the hard charge. We expect that from these guys. Can they catch Mojo, though? That's the question. And I would also suggest that a little bit of traffic has come into play with those particular lap times. So in terms of our 600 horsepower outboard, Supercat outboard category, race leader is the Sting. Back to TCR, back to Kes Racing 801, back to DLR. In our Supercat Extreme category, Mojo, back to Hornet, back to Venturi Racing. He's still here, Defina, just really stabbing at the throttles there. I know they've had a few gearing issues in that boat, and maybe just trying to break the propellers free as we go on board there with the Sting. Those boys still running up around that 100 mile an hour mark. It has been the quality boat of the field here this season, the Sting, Mickey Ratcliffe and Carl Wall, and they are definitely well on their way to claiming their second championship. Mojo sounding and looking absolutely fantastic as it fires up the back straight away. That beautiful big Maritimo / Riviera hull with the Johnny Barbagallo race engine, shaft-driven boat. Interviewed Todd prior to this race, and he said they've done a lot of work to the rear end of that boat in terms of the drive shafts, and they had a lot of stuff that was quite well worn, and in fact a little bit of damage from a broken propeller as well. So they've rebushed basically all the drivetrain in that boat and just tightened the whole thing up, and it looks to me at the moment as if they'd be pretty happy with what they've done, because the boat is absolutely on fire at the moment. In a good way. Not in the way that Acme Racing was here last year, where it was a fire and we all broke out our marshmallows. So Hornet to the outside, still pushing hard, Jason and Mick Kelly. They don't like getting beaten. These boys have got a taste for victory now, and they're not going to let this go too quickly, I would suggest. Hornet sounding good. Venturi down through the south end turn. So Matthew Kelly, Anthony Defina had a good chat with Matty this morning. He's feeling pretty relaxed about everything. Making a few noises about driving a F1 tunnel boat as well, Matthew. So it'll be interesting to see if he goes on board and does a little bit of that stuff. Up into that 100 mile an hour bracket still for the Sting as they scoot along the front straight. Venturi now, boat number 5. Let's have a look at some lap times. 2:31s for both Venturi and Mojo. A 2:30 there for Hornet this time around. So a little bit slower for Hornet. Must have got caught up in a little bit of traffic on that one. Supercat outboard, those guys going around in, what do we got? 3:48 for DLR. So actually a minute slower there than TCR Sting. TCR at a 2:48, Sting at a 2:43. So that just goes to show how hard these outboard boats are pushing along at the moment in their quest for victory. Mojo up the back chute, Todd Kelly. Stuart Eustace. Stuart, the owner of the boat. Todd, the throttle man. Stuart, the pilot. And these boys absolutely having a day out here at the moment as they go around the outside of DLR. DLR, the only aluminium boat in the category. It's an old boat. It was built by Darren Horton. Darren and his brother Brad Horton out of Queensland many moons ago. He used to run a pair of V8 Evinrudes on the back of that particular boat, and with those things on it, it was wild. It's got the smaller capacity 300 XS Mercuries on it now. As we watch them come down the front straight away, and round the outside of them goes Hornet Racing, Jason Kelly and Michael Kelly. And this boat and its tow vehicle look absolutely stunning on the water and on the road, even when they're going up the highway. Beautiful livery on this boat. Looks absolutely fantastic. And I tell you what, there's a Hornet sticker on nearly every boat in the field at the moment. So the Hornet team absolutely committed to offshore powerboat racing at the minute. Really enjoying it and doing very well. Currently leading the championship. These boys trying to snatch it off them at the moment, doing a good job. Well, they're doing all they can, but unfortunately for them, they probably need Hornet to have a problem. But I think if they can take a win here, they'll be pretty excited about that. Mojo Racing. Kelly and Eustace up the back straight away. Hornet Racing. Kelly and Kelly also up the back straight away. Stern drive boat versus shaft drive boat. Bigger power in the Mojo machine. This Hornet boat runs a pair of basically stock Mercruiser Racing big block 525 horsepower fuel injected race engines. The Mojo boat running 800 odd horsepower carburetted big blocks. Those engines built by Johnny Barbagallo Race Engines out of far north Queensland. So the battle continuing on here in this Supercat outboard category, and TCR just puts a lap on DLR there, and so too Venturi behind them going around the outside of the DLR. So DLR look like they're just struggling for a little bit of pace here this afternoon. So this race winding down, 5 minutes and 25 seconds left to run. Mojo Racing. Todd Kelly, Stewie Eustace. The boat dialed in, trimmed to perfection. Scooting along at around about 125 miles per hour at the moment. Hornet. Right up there, Clack. I tell you what, that gap might have closed a little bit there. We might try and get some timing on them next time around. Let's have a little bit of a look if I can pick them up. So just watching as we watch the sting come through, the gap between Mojo and Hornet Racing is 6.7 seconds unofficial. Let's see if they're closing that gap up as we watch the sting. Race leader in Supercat outboard now. They come down the front straight away. Mickey Radcliffe, Carl Wall doing it for Lockie. 4 minutes left to run in this race. Venturi about to scoot around the outside of them. You can see the difference in the speed between the big inboards. The Venturi boat running the Mercruiser factory 565 race engines through shaft drives. Very, very tidy package indeed. 801, Stevie Lancaster, Scott Kelly. These boys have had a big season. Their first season in this boat's a former Mantis boat, former Saracen boat. Running into third is the TCR. And Stephen Kelly and Scotland Horatio Aloysius Richardson. Sometimes I just like to go formal with his full name. Through bottom turn, Mojo still holding off, and we're going to get a time on them. It was 6.7 seconds on the previous lap. So let's get a time here on the Mojo. And the gap between Mojo, we only have 2 minutes 50 left to run in this race. So Mojo now, Kelly and Eustace, they come through. Gap was 6.7 last lap. See what it is this lap. Nine seconds, 9.13 seconds. So unofficial through the dog leg. Mojo have made some ground on that lap. with only 2 minutes 16 left to run in this race. Mojo are looking like they're going to be hard to beat here. Let's hope they can bring it home for their sake. Hornet guys will be hoping for a problem. But the way the Mojo boat's gone this afternoon, I doubt that that's going to happen. Sting on the inside of Venturi Racing. The hammers go down in the mighty Venturi machine. Sounds beautiful as it comes down the front straightaway. Might have been banging the limiter there a little bit. They may have just gone for a slightly low prop selection or gear selection in this boat. So they'll go back and look at that. TCR, they're still running in second place. Behind the Sting with only a minute left to run. So we'll probably see, we might see 2 laps. A little bit of a listen in on race control here. So Mojo up through the southern end turn. So if you look, this is going to get close. 30 seconds left to run in this race now, and they come down. So this is going to be very touch and go. They may get the checkered flag here. For those of you watching on the screen at home, Scotty's got the time going there. 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. And the checkered flag is going to be produced. It's going to come out. Mojo, ladies and gentlemen, takes the win. Todd Kelly and Stewie Eustace, second place, will be Hornet Racing. Right behind Jason and Mick Kelly in Supercat Extreme. Mojo takes the win. That'll leave Venturi to slot in for third place. Kelly's will be happy with that. That's solid points, and that'll be basically their championship done and dusted now. So they'll be ecstatic. Second place and quite close to the Mojo Racing Machine. DLR are going to come through. This will be a fourth place for them in Supercat outboard. It's the 2 Dove boys, Lockie and Craig Dove. Craig Rwanda Dove comes through. This will be third place. Supercat Extreme. It'll be Matthew Kelly and Anthony DeFina in the Venturi. With 2 races still to go for these guys tomorrow. And race leader comes charging to the line. I tell you what, TCR's come back at these guys. It's going to be the Sting taking the win relatively comfortably, and their championship looking very solid. A win for Sting Racing. Doing it for Lockie there, Carl Wall and Mickey Radcliffe, second place. TCR, one of the best runs we've seen from that boat in a very long time. Scotty Richardson and Steve Kelly. And third place, right up their backside, is the 801 Kess Racing, Scott Kelly and Stavros Lancaster. Great racing, and I think that might be the final boat home. Oh, hello, Neil. Jeez. There I am. Hello. All right, folks. Well, that was Supercat Extreme and Supercat Outboard. We have got the third and final race of the day coming your way at 2 p.m, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking forward to that one. It's going to be absolutely epic. Actually, I might get my old mate Michael Ritchie in here just on camera. Michael's new to powerboat racing. I'll get you to come through here, mate. Get your good-looking head in front of Neil's camera here, mate. Come through. Get next to poor old Bisho here. Michael, mate, first time watching the big boats go out there and have a run around. What do you reckon?
Wonderful, exciting, noisy, just watching the skill of those guys on the water out there and the speed. very good. Very nice to watch, and your call of it's very exciting. No, it's a great package, mate. It's going well.
Thanks, mate. Tell us about your radio show while we've got you on the live stream here. People around the world are watching. They can tune in, live stream it.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's very kind of you. I'm working with 5EBI FM. It's in Adelaide. We're a multicultural station. So I'm doing a program, starts on Monday, called Sports Talk from 1 till 2 p.m. And we cover all sports, and this will be a sport that we'll be talking about on Monday.
1 till 2 p.m. What's the band?
103.1 FM.
103.1. Get on board, folks. Have a listen to this guy. We'll have a chat with him as well. Glad you're enjoying the racing, mate. Good on you.
Thanks for your hospitality, and thank you very much. And good luck to all the drivers, through the next day and a half.
Thanks, Michael Ritchie there. We have got another race coming your way. The little boats are coming back out to go and see what they can do. We'll be back with that racing before too long.
Simons Clark's David Clark, himself a long-time racer in circuit boats and a local to Port Adelaide. He's a passionate South Australian with a desire to attract significant events to his home state, something which led him to discussions with the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, Marine Safety and the City of Port Adelaide Enfield about campaigning an offshore race off Largs Bay, an event he not only conceived, but also threw his support behind.
Simons Clark has always been a big sponsor of all local community sports, football and netball, and all the clubs that are on the peninsula where we live. And also, he's a big sponsor of Adelaide Speedboat Club. And because I saw the one at the brainstorm to bring him to Adelaide, I felt it was only right that Simons Clark sponsor and help this event get off the ground and make it the success that it was. I'd really like to thank Simon from Marine Safety for supporting us and helping us get it set up with the boat ramp and the course and the closed waters. Especially also to Claire Bone, who was the Mayoress of Port Adelaide Enfield Council, and the people of the council for supporting us and helping us getting off the ground and giving us the opportunity to start something that we can build on and make it great. Also, I'd like to thank Greg Allison from the Cruising Yacht Club of SA. Without Greg's hard work and support and joining all the dots for us is from a club perspective, presentation night, welcome night. Without Greg, again, that's another important person that it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for him. Everybody in the local community helped when they could, whatever job we gave them to do, which was fantastic. My goal is to make it the best and put 100% into it to make sure that it keeps going in Adelaide. Very exciting times, a lot of work, but I enjoy it. I mean, the outcome is what it is for everybody, it's not just for individuals. So very happy with it.
Yeah, fantastic venue, unbelievable venue. The weather's fantastic, the water was great. Huge number of people on the end of the pier there at Largs Pier. Huge number of spectator boats out there, so beautiful, beautiful water for racing.
An amazing setting as a base to run the race from, the event from. Look, there were so many boats out in the water there, and it was just such a beautiful day on the water. You pretty well couldn't beat it. So I do hope that this becomes a new staple of the championship, and it's just great to see the community here really getting behind the event.
Back of the opening round of the 2025-26 Australian Offshore Superboat season at Lake Macquarie in the New South Wales Hunter region came back-to-back Victorian rounds in early 2026, Wyndham Harbour opening the account in late February, whilst the popular Geelong event, located right in the heart of the city of Greater Geelong, signalled the start of the second half of the season. For the mighty Supercat Extreme teams, the new season dawned with news of a record field, 6 outright boats making a start at Lake Macquarie, although typically the inherent nature of these high-performing beasts came at a toll. 2025 season runners-up, Acme Racing, out for the Victorian events as a result of engine troubles. The iconic Red Maritimo sidelined whilst they wait for vital engine components from overseas. As for the new Team Australia operation of Canberra's Phil Wiley, it too suffered setbacks on debut and is facing a similar issue. They're hoping to return later in the year, and certainly both are expected to make a start should Redcliffe become an additional round mid-year.
Lake Macquarie obviously was a weekend we want to put behind us. So we had some ignition issues there with the boat, and terrible weekend for us. So didn't really get going at all. So we've had engines on the dyno, and we think may have found what the issue may be. Then we want to put the engines back in the boat, but Andrew wants to put some new engines in the boat. So we're just waiting on some parts for that to be completed before we put it back in the boat. Run 3 DNFs in Lake Macquarie, and the championship sort of basically ended before it even started there. And look, if Redcliffe comes off, it looks like we'll be there for Redcliffe. If not, it'll be back to Lake Macquarie.
After a strong start for Graduates Hornet Racing at Lake Macquarie, reigning Supersports 85 champions Mick and Jason Kelly came into their first home race full of confidence, but still mindful of the fact they were complete rookies in the outright class. But by the close of Wyndham Harbour, they'd not only won their maiden race, but put themselves to the top of the championship points by virtue of setbacks for both reigning champions 222 Offshore and Todd Kelly and Stuart Eustace in Mojo.
At the end of the day, we're probably just a little bit lucky that 222 had a small little engine failure at Wyndham. But yeah, no, we're just there to circulate. We're just there still learning the boat, all the rest of it. Look, if we come away with a win, it'd be unbelievable, but likelihood, all the rest of it is, we're playing against some pretty big guys. So 222 is the pinnacle, mate. They're 23 world champions. So, and then we're up against Mojo too, which their history. Todd's Bathurst winner. So, and Venturi, they're finally getting that thing dialed in.
Like reigning Supercat outboard champions Anthony DeFina and Matt Kelly and the new-look Venturi Racing Victory Cat, they'd chosen the more conservative Mercury inboard engine package as opposed to the much more powerful twin 790 horsepower engine package campaigned by both 222 and Mojo. And for both teams, reliability was key to their performance and a strong collection of podium finishes.
We're slowly getting there. We knew, we were never going to be there straight out of the box, but, we're building, the boat's getting better, we're getting better. We've certainly done a lot of work on it, just trying to get our head around all the new things on it. Trim system is probably next for us. We reckon we're okay with speed, but trim is probably the next thing for us, which we'll try and upgrade between here and Adelaide. Really good for the series, I reckon, seeing 4 quite different boats, 3 different engine packages. It's really made it interesting. This is the Hornets' water. If they get in front, I don't think anyone will see them. But for us, if we can get another 3 solid runs and just improve on what we've been doing, we'll be happy.
For Kelly and Eustace, who are expected to leverage their experience from Port Adelaide in mid-2025, they too suffered a number of setbacks. 2 prop failures in Lake Macquarie impacting their points position, forcing a little head-scratching for the team.
We threw 2 blades over the weekend, but then mechanically everything else has been fine, so it's always a worry. There's so many moving parts in these things and they work so hard. There's always something about to break, so hopefully it doesn't this weekend. Another place that we've not raced at, so we don't exactly know what we're doing with props and gear ratios, and again the weather, as it was on one of the days at Wyndham Harbour, looks really calm, so fairly sheltered little bay here, really smooth, and these boats get really sticky on the water. It's hard to liven them up, so we were scratching our heads late last night trying to work out the straight lengths and fuel loads and what ratios to run, and we're on pole today, so there's a bit of pressure to try and nail that, but unfortunately until we do a race we really won't know if we've nailed all of those things or not, so fingers crossed for today. There's a lot of fast boats, especially acceleration-wise, and in those tighter corners we're probably not the best at compared to others, so it's pretty important for us to get on the inside and get a good run out of the first one, and then this course is so tight it could be a little bit hard to pass, so if we're in front hopefully we can stay there for a little while.
With World Championship victory and a string of Australian titles to their name, 222 Offshore in their new-look Mobile X livery started the season firm favourites to add another crown to the collection. But setbacks in Wyndham Harbour had put a serious dent in their championship aspirations. An engine issue whilst leading the second race, off a gearbox setback in race 1, saw them sidelined for the final race. The team forced to make an engine change ahead of Geelong.
We're still a little bit confused ourselves. It did jump out of gear on Saturday, and we don't know if that sort of contributed to the issues, but just ended up with one broken rocker. So, and we went through it all and no damage anywhere else. So, yeah, very lucky. Look, we'd just try and hold our own, and hopefully everything sort of holds together. And now it's up to myself and Darren to get around the course.
For 2026, the Geelong course was set at 5.48 kilometres, a tight layout in Geelong's Corio Bay that saw 6 left-hand corners and 2 right-handers. Ambient temperature was in the low to mid-20s, with a 15 to 20 km/h breeze making conditions almost perfect. Friday night saw the all-important pole draw to set the start grid for the opening race, with Mojo claiming the inside pole for their Geelong debuts, with Mobile X, Hornet Racing and Venturi falling in alongside. Kelly and Eustace managed to hold the reigning champions back for the first 2 laps of Saturday's opening race. The pace of Nicholson and Jellick was far too great for the Mojo crew, and they jumped into the lead on lap 3 on their way to a 9-second victory over the points-leading Hornet Racing machine, although the 2 Kellys did card the fastest time of the race with a 2:08 on the penultimate lap. Todd Kelly and Stuart Eustace fading to 4th in the end after yet another prop failure, leading to some deep team discussion post-race. Third across the line after a strong start was Venturi Racing, Anthony DeFina and Matt Kelly making some strong inroads, having crossed the line well within sight of the leaders and just 27 seconds back from Mobile X.
Still got some guarding issues coming up in the corners, but we're trying to reduce that a fair bit. So we're getting ahead around these engines a little bit better and just driving the boat more. We're trying to get the boat a little lighter as well, so just trying to remove things we don't need and stuff like that. So I think we're heading in the right direction, but this year was always going to be a learning curve for us. The outboard boat we've been in for a long time, so it was this second nature to us. So it's basically relearning everything that we, have to do in the boat. So I think we're slowly getting ahead around it. The other boats obviously are a bit quicker than us, and that's fine, but we'll get there. We're not too far behind. I don't think we have the speed to win it outright, but if we just be consistent over the whole year, hopefully we'll be there at the end.
The first time we actually saw the circuit at speed is when we were leading the race. So the first lap was actually pretty good, a little bit shaky in places, and we settled in and I think we had pace in certain areas on 222, and then they were a fair bit quicker in others, but probably had just enough to hold them. And then once the race moved on and we got some traffic and things, we ended up in the wrong spot, and then they got in front. But really, really good fun that first part of the race. And then we had another propeller blade snap off, which ended it. It actually felt really bad, this one, like the engine had let go. So we're quite lucky that it was as simple as putting a new prop on and back in today. We're quite inexperienced with the whole sport, really, everything to do with this boat. So we're running everything that the boat came with, spec-wise. Obviously, the thinner you go with a prop, the faster the boat is, but the more risk there is of a failure. So we're just trying to work out what we've got to play with out of the props that came with it, and probably where we need to go if we're going to order more. So we've had 3 now, so it'd be hard to point it at a metal issue. It's probably just a fact of the props need to be beefed up a little. It's tough because it's not like you can put the boat in every weekend and test it. The only time we really get to spending it together is the race meetings. We've had like one test day out in Port Phillip Bay, which was hardly anything. He couldn't really even do any corners or anything to get a feel for it. So we've been learning really only in the races. So I think once we get through the first season, we'll be in a really good spot, both as a pairing in the boat and working out the spec of propellers and what ratios we need to run at every event. Next year should be pretty solid. I really enjoy working on boats, whether it be this or the ski race boats. It's almost relaxing and a bit of therapy. All the car stuff is such high pressure. It's all a lot of pressure from sponsors, from fans. Like the whole thing's just you're working for other people as much as anything. Where this is just a cool thing to do and still enjoy the engineering of it. But it's actually quite a fun thing. When you're trying to run a boat at the limit and one guy's got the steering wheel and the other guy's got the throttle and you can't really even communicate effectively because it's so noisy, it's pretty interesting. So it takes time. You need to be able to kind of gel and know what the boat's going to do and both be in sync with each other without even speaking about it. So when we get to that point, it's going to be a fast boat. But this boat is really different to the other boats. It does things that they won't, and those boats do things that there's no way this boat will do. It's pretty sketchy in the corners and over washes compared to others, but it's fast in a straight line, so it's not the easiest boat to drive, that's for sure.
It was probably one of the best races we've had in a long time. A really good fight with the whole lot of them actually, but Mojo kept us on our tails, so that was awesome. There was no backing off. There was a good push, and that's what we love. That's what you do it for. Like we were just having so much fun yesterday. It was just getting different angles, getting cut off, going through rooster tails. That's what it's all about.
Sunday morning saw the teams prepare for races 2 and 3 of the weekend. The starting order for the second race reflecting the finishing order of race 1, putting Mobile X on pole from Hornet, Venturi and Mojo. The top 3 teams went side by side through the first corner, with Triple Two the first to break free. The fast-starting Mojo getting to the first right-hander on the insider of Hornet Racing to grab second. Venturi slotting into a close watching brief in 4th place. The Kelly team, though, in front of a big home crowd, were not going to be denied, immediately locking in behind Mojo to force their way back through to second on the third lap as they set off in pursuit of race leaders Mobile X. The 2 top teams circulated in near identical lap times, Mick and Jason Kelly trying everything they could to find a way past Nicholson and Jellick, but against such storied competition it was never really on. Both teams setting identical fastest laps of 2:11, Hornet actually knocking out 2 of them to Triple Two's fastest on the penultimate lap. The margin at the line, just 4 seconds. For Todd Kelly and Stuart Eustace, they found the rough on a couple of occasions to lose time to the leaders, who once in clear water turned in the fastest lap of the race with a 2:10 on lap 13 to cross the line 17 seconds back from race winners Mobile X, while Stefina and Matt Kelly claimed 4th, 11 seconds further back, although they too were all smiles, having matched the fastest lap of the race leaders. Sadly for the Triple Two team though, their celebrations were short-lived. Some anxious faces post-race revealed that just as they had 12 months prior, they were out again with a mechanical issue. Their weekend was done, leaving them in a race to return to the Gold Coast to make repairs ahead of Adelaide's 4th round on May 9 and 10.
Not the weekend we were hoping for, but we've had better days, but just got to go and rethink and scratch our heads on how we make the engines better.
Just a broken rocker. We're not sure on why it broke, and the engine is still in perfect condition. Get it back to the coast, and Muddy and Marky will go through it all and have a good look.
Winter was a bit unfortunate. We had a gearbox that jumped out of gear, which we haven't got. We changed the box because boat's been down here, not back up in the shed, and so the engine over revved that day and busted a rocket. So that engine's out. This one shouldn't have done what it's done, but it's engines. Running across the pier in here, Geelong, was as good as it gets. I mean, world class. You get a heap of people out on the pier, the boats go thundering across, and they enjoy it. The amount of people that just come up later and just, we come across from Melbourne to watch this, and it's great. So it's a good thing. We just got to dig out some of the other blokes that are parked up to get everybody back on the water. But for us, we can drive the thing okay. Stevie's bloody brilliant on the throttles. It's just figuring out what it is.
And that left 3. Hornet Racing holding the inside pole for the final race, with Mojo and Venturi alongside. The big Geelong crowd treated to another great race as the trio stormed away for their final 30-minute journey. The thundering Mojo did everything they could off the line to try and hold Hornet tight for the first 2 left-handers in an effort to slip inside them into the turn 3 right-hander. The points leaders were up to the game, pushing them slightly wider on the run into turn 2 to allow them to close the door for the turn 3 right-hander. From there, the Hornet team delivered 3 of their best laps to pull an 8-second lead by the close of the third lap, maintaining that pace to the line as Mojo locked into the same 2:11, 2:12 lap bracket, but they couldn't match the leaders across the middle of the race. The Hornet team, to the great delight of the assembled fans, taking the win by an impressive 28 seconds over Mojo, with Venturi third, to 16 seconds further back, and again matching the pace of the leaders.
Never in a million years do we think we would be where we are, especially stepping from the small boat to the big boat. Look, we'll take it, to be honest with you. We're pretty happy about it. We thought that this would have been one for us, definitely. We are still learning setup on the boat as well. We did learn a lot this weekend in regards to balance, getting the boat balanced so that we can sit it into the corners, get it through the corners and out. That being said, it was very, very tricky once we were stuck behind Triple Two, Mojo. It's very tricky when you're in that dirty water to try and get round. So we changed a bit in setup from yesterday to today, and to be honest with you, the boat was a lot better. So we are still learning. Our aim is to finish races, and we've done that so far. Everything else on top's a bonus. So I learned a lot towards the end of last round at Wyndham. The boat doesn't really like it when you ease off it, sort of thing. So it likes to be driven hard, basically. So we won't let off, really. We'll keep going until it's done. I guess at the end of the day, we want to win that first place trophy, and we want to do it fair and square. So the only way to do that is to push. And fingers crossed, Triple Two are back out at Adelaide, and we can battle it out with both or all three of them. So it'll be good.
So I reckon we were maybe a little bit faster than Mojo. We just couldn't get round them. So we'd get up to them, get in their wash and fall back a little bit. But for us to be right up the backside of a 750 boat and pushing really hard, we've come out with 3 finishes. In fact, since Lake Macquarie, the boat's run flawlessly mechanically. So that's what we want. And that's been our philosophy, and also the Hornets' philosophy. We've got factory stock engines. They're not a custom-built engine. We turn the key, they start. We've had 3 out of 3. They've had 3 out of 3 today. Yeah, the consistency is a big part of it. Biggest thing for us at the moment is trim, and that relates to our corner speed, and that's where we are falling down a little bit. Although we've got much better during this weekend. So we've got a new trim system, which we have, and it's just a matter of installing it and calibrating.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the final race of the day, and it is our Super Sports boats back on the water to go and do battle. Boats we're looking for on the inside there, just picking up the nutcase machine. On the outside of them is the cardiac arrest, the Con outside cardiac arrest, and that beautiful Donzi there with George Says and Chris Davrindis. Chris, one of the famous Stav family of JV Marine, one of our great sponsors. Great to have Chris out there in this particular boat as well. So, sighting lap for these guys. And the starter will pick these guys up as they come down the front chute. So, again, huge shout out to all of our wonderful sponsors here this weekend. Largs Bay Sailing Club, North Haven Marine, Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, the Beach Haven Cafe, the Adelaide Speedboat Club, Simons Clark Logistics, and 35 South Marina. So take the boats down through the bottom end of the course, the northern end, which is up by the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, which is where these boats have been launched out of. And we'll wait for them to come up the back chute, send them up down to the southern end, and then bring them down the front again, and we'll let them go. Half-hour race, this one. Donzi, unfortunately, the only 85 category boat here. It's been a long season, and the other 85 boats have all fallen by the wayside. Looking at the championship, though, unfortunately, because Donzi was not entered in the championship and hasn't completed every round, Those guys not in for the championship, but they will be the champions. Special edition. Mark Pajewski, Ian Trigger, Mel Nelson and Dwayne White, who have been the co-pilots here with Mark. And they are in an unassailable lead in that championship, so congratulations to Team Kutterkraft. I know Mark's watching and listening, so well done, mate. Championship win for you, which is fantastic. And the next job for him is to tell me what category he's going to run in next year. I'm intrigued. Don't forget, for the people that are competing or want to, we do have the end of season presentation dinner on Sunday night after tomorrow's racing over at the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia. So that'll be a great night, and we can celebrate our championship winners and commiserate with the losers. Either way, I might have a refreshment or two. Although I have to be a little bit tidy, I've got to MC it. So just waiting now for boats to head down through the southern end of the course. We'll pick them up 30 minutes this particular race, as the others have been today, and this is the final race of the day for our Super Sport category boats. Been a great initiative by the club, these particular speed limited classes. In fact, it's interesting, I was listening to a very good friend of mine in the US, Joe Road, his podcast on the way over here. And they're even doing it in the States as well, which is really good to see. It certainly brings out boats that may have become uncompetitive because they're not the latest and the greatest, because it doesn't matter. They don't need that top speed. They just need to be able to carry the speed that the class dictates. So looking for a start now as we pick up our teams. Nutcase, Cardiac Arrest, Con and Donzi Racing. Unfortunately, Team 38 Offshore have had a loss of power issue in that boat, and the boys aren't quite sure what the issue is. They can't get to the bottom of it, but the flag drops and we are racing. And Nutcase, a little bit of an update too on race number one for these guys. No breakouts. Quickest boat on the course was Donzi Racing on the outside there at 77 miles per hour. So they're running the 85 mile an hour category, and 77 was the best we saw at them. So it just goes to show that the water out there is a little bit inconsistent, and these guys are actually having to work pretty hard, not even getting anywhere near close to their top speed in this particular class. So Donzi Racing, they'll head through, and as we can see, takes a few hits there as the pounds and goes up into the dogleg turn, the starboard or right-hand turn. But the battle is on for the 65 category boats as we see Cardiac Arrest and Nutcase just go up through the dogleg there. No, Cardiac Arrest looks like they just drop into the wash of the Donzi machine. Couple of big hits coming from these boats too, so it's getting a little bit of substance in it down this bottom end of the course. I wouldn't call it rough, but it's certainly a few hits. You can certainly see the Razorcraft really throw some spray off the front of it when it crashes through those waves. So those boys will go up into turn number 3, I guess, for want of a better term, and Nutcase will come out at the head of the pack there. Just trying to pick up on Donzi Racing. I think Donzi Racing's dropped back a bit there. Yeah, they are. They're on the outside. So good battle going on here as Harry Backer and Shane Payton go to war out here on Largs Bay. Racing entry, they came into that bottom turn in P1 and they've exited in P3, and by a long way they've gone right back to something's gone on, I would suggest, with Donzi Racing. Wonder whether they've got maybe a little bit of a boat issue with that particular craft. So George Sayers and Chris Stav. Sayers and Stav, we're shortening their names. But they got the back shoot, and I don't know what's going on there, but it's an interesting one. They certainly had a little bit of drama. Doggy down the front, he's not too happy with it. He wants him to go faster. So front straight away now, and this enthralling little battle going on between the cardiac arrest and the nutcase here. These guys have been going at it not just today but all season. So Charlie Diorio and Ivan Benkotic just around the outside there. On the inside, Shane Payton and Harry, the boatman, Backer as they go up into the sun glare. Now sun comes out here at Largs Bay, looking absolutely stunning out there. I'm wondering whether this is going to cause any glare issues for the drivers. Certainly is for the commentator at the moment, as we can barely see them as they go up through the dog leg. There's Donzi Racing now. So they've had some sort of problem go on, and the boat just looks unsettled. It's been very settled the whole time, but it is getting rougher out there, so the boat maybe just not liking these conditions at the moment, which is a possibility. You can see the conditions are getting rougher as they go up into the top. As a little bit of breeze just comes through Largs Bay at the moment. So 5.5 minutes into this race, and Donzi Racing look like they're having a little bit of a struggle. But having said that, they came back in the previous race strong towards the end. So is this just some sort of tactics that they're running? Quite possibly. It's got the beautiful Scott Portier bottom on that particular hull. Scott out of the US. He came and raced it in Geelong. Hopefully Scotty's watching. Big shout out, mate, if you are. Shame you're not here. So he's doing lots of great stuff in US powerboat racing over there. Whilst we're talking about the US, don't forget to jump on to my man Joe Rhodes' podcast, which is Powerboat Talk. His latest one is with Ty Newton, who came out here to Australia and competed in the World Championships for unlimited displacement boats. And I listened to it on the way over. A very, very good listen. whilst we're talking about podcasts, there's plenty of them going around. The High Speed Garage boys doing a fantastic job. A new one just out this week. They bring one out every week, so High Speed Garage is definitely one to tune into, along with the 100 Mile an Hour Club. Mitch Williams doing a fantastic job. He's one of our tunnel boat drivers, and if you get really desperate for something to listen to, you've got the Hose Down, my one. You can tune into that as well. So just having a look at some lap times. Oh, no, they're gone. Lap times there. So 4:40 for Nutcase, a 4:43 for Cardiac Arrest, 5:10 for Donzi, and the Con running through there in a 5:35. So sure what's going on with Donzi Racing there at the moment. They just seem to be a little bit off the pace. But as I said, they were a little bit slow to get going in race number 1 as well. And then they came back red hot and actually won the race. So just wondering whether they're just saving the equipment or, getting to half race distance and then starting to put the hammer down. Still 22 minutes left to run in this race, so plenty of time left for these guys. Harry Backer and Shane Payton just getting ahead of Charlie and Ivan there in the Cardiac Arrest. When the spray comes off this Razorcraft when it takes these hits, it's like it's got plenty of weight up in the nose. I wonder whether they run a bit of ballast in it, but it certainly throws the spray off the nose of the boat when it does those big jumps. And they're really starting to take a pounding now. And you can see the conditions, although they started out quite smooth this morning, even that was deceptive. But now that wind's come up a little bit, and these boys are actually still going very, very quickly, that's for sure. But they're certainly having to concentrate pretty hard. I reckon Harry would be watching every wave in front of him out there at the moment as the boat jumps and leaps. Looks fairly settled past the pier there, but prior to that it took a couple of big hits. So Ivan and Charlie in the Cardiac Arrest, they go round behind, but then we've got Donzi Racing. So Georgie says, and Chris Stav. Boat taking some good hits there, so I don't know whether they're just going a little bit easy. They do a lot of testing with this boat up on the Hawkesbury River, as Malcolm Priest from the Hawkesbury area does a lot of the tuning and work on this particular boat. So they spend a lot of time on the river. I wonder whether a few bumps out here are starting to make them go, wow, this is actual offshore racing now. Boat sounds absolutely fantastic. So 20 minutes, just over 20 minutes left to run in this particular race as Harry Backer and Shane Payton go up the back straight away in the Razorcraft, the Nutcase machine. You can see the sun glare on the water there as well, and it's quite interesting because there's a little bit of cloud cover. So it's all a bit higgledy-piggledy in terms of the vision, I suppose you'd say, and the conditions. So let's run through a race leader, Nutcase, back to Cardiac Arrest, back to Donzi, and the Con. So Con rounding out the field there, but Donzi, of course, leading their class, the 85 class, but currently running third outright. Payton and Backer there still taking some big hits up that back straightaway. So don't forget tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the big bangers coming out for their final 2 runs. These guys doing 1 run and 2 races for the big boats tomorrow First race will be 11, second race will be 12, third race will be 1 p.m. tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So the big boat's coming up for 2 races tomorrow, so that's going to be very exciting to see. So focusing in there, cardiac arrest, just chasing the nutcase up through the southern end of the course. There for 35 South Marina. And now the cardiac arrest having a little bit of a look, a cheeky look up the inside there for the Beach Haven Cafe. Had a coffee there this morning, absolutely magnificent. Big shout out also to the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, great supporters of this event, along with Simons Clark Logistics, the Adelaide Speedboat Club, and of course where we are right now, the beautiful Largs Bay Sailing Club. Race leader there, that 4.6 litre V8 Mercury, sounding beautiful as it just crashes its way through the waves out in front of us here in the commentary box. And cardiac arrest. Just can't quite bridge the gap at the moment in the Cootercraft. Don't need to either. The championship's theirs for the losing at the moment, so they're probably just being a shade conservative. No need to be pitching yourself out of the boat or having a hook or a spin or doing anything crazy when the championship is effectively in your grasp. So cardiac arrest. So Ivan Benkotic and Charlie Diorio doing it nicely. So George Says and Chris Davrindis. Going through there in the Donzi machine. Said it earlier on, but this boat's absolutely stunning. If you get a chance to particularly look in the engine bay, but the paint job on the boat is absolutely stunning. Inside the engine bay, you could eat your dinner off the floor in that thing. And really, really beautifully turned out offshore race boat. It's got the Scott Portier modified bottom on that boat. It's got a Wizard with hull design and hull modifications out of the United States. So he does an awesome job. Nutcase up the back straight, that is the Razorcraft. Harry Backer is the owner of Razorcraft Boats. He builds these boats. Generally built as fishing boats, so he goes out there, races them, tests them, and makes sure that they're strong enough. So if you ever go and buy yourself a Razorcraft or a Cootercraft for that matter, you can know that they've been tested in the absolute rigours of offshore powerboat racing. You can really see it. It's quite different to all the other boats, the way it throws the spray off the front. This is the Con. It's a 21-foot heartbeat hull. These boats, quite a few of them were built. They're sort of based on a very much a Haynes Hunter style design. They're a very good deep V, strong boat. And they're doing a good job there, Sophie Lancaster and Brendan Weeks, running the Mercury 3.2 litre stroker on that boat. Race leader now charging down the front straight away, and it's Backer and Payton again. Love the livery on this boat. The beautiful green, the gel coat work on the boats is just magnificent. Real credit to the team there at Razorcraft Boats. And as I say, this Largs Bay
as they just go on that Largs Bay pier, and you'll just get an idea of how many people are on the end of the pier there. There's quite a few people hanging off the end of the pier there. It'll be a great spectator spot for those of you that are in Adelaide. Come down, get onto the Largs Pier. Check out the powerboat racing. Tomorrow is the big day. We've got the big boys coming up for 2 races. So that is going to keep us very, very busy indeed. Dogleg in this course, and I was talking to Stewie Eustace of Mojo Racing about the dogleg last night, and he was quite concerned. He thought it was going to get a little bit chaotic, but everyone seems to have got through pretty good. I don't think we've had any bark off any of the boats or any of the drivers, so it's been a great day. So 11 minutes 50 seconds to run as we watch the cardiac arrest go up the back straight. Yamaha power on the back of this Cootercraft, or as the man that builds them calls them, the Cootercraft. Mark Pajewski down there at Malakuta. He's the Prince of Malakuta, you know. Beautiful part of Victoria. And he churns out these wonderful Cootercraft boats. They're beautiful looking boats, and they perform just as well as they go. I tell you what, if I was a fisherman, which I'm not, I'd definitely only be buying a boat that's been proven in offshore racing. If they can do this, they can do anything. Same stands for the Razor Crafts. Another manufacturer that proves their product out here. Had a lot of great boats proving their product. We've had Force boats out here, of course, with Mark Sutherland winning a championship in his F21 Force hull as well. We've had Velocity hulls. All sorts of weird and wonderful stuff as well is raced out there too in the offshore championships. The old Spectre, of course, Benny Embleton, running the same boat that his father ran so many years ago, and that's really cool. Family connection there, and those old boats. Still a good boat, and a good boat's a good boat. My old mate Richard always used to say to me, a good boat's a good boat no matter what. It's like hull design, good hull design is timeless. So 9 minutes and 52 seconds left to run in this race. And I'll tell you what, Payton and Backer, they're still pushing hard. They need to, because Charlie and Ivan are right up their transom at the moment in the cardiac arrest. And don't worry about this. Although the cardiac arrest has effectively wrapped up the championship, they'll want to try and win this one. They won't be too interested in getting beaten by Razorcraft. Having said that, Razorcraft has won the last 4 races in a row. So, sadly for them, that slow start to the season really put paid to their championship aspirations. That's what I like about championships. You've got to be there for every round. You've got to be consistent, no mistakes, no breakages, and try and push hard as well. They go around the outside of the con there, Brendan Weeks and Sophie Lancaster. So they've just come off the pace a little bit there as they go up through the dog leg, the con. And whether it's got an issue or not. Brendan normally a pretty hard charger, but that boat just seems to have slowed a bit for some reason. That runs the older style 3.2 litre Mercury Stroker on the back of that boat. It's a two-stroke 3.2 litre V6 high-pressure direct injected outboard. It was sort of the forerunner to the four-stroke engines. So definitely older technology now. Most of the four-stroke stuff really taking over the world. So back straight away now, just still picking up on the Razorcraft, and I can hear that Donzie coming in the front straight. There she is. Coming past the Largs pier. Tell you what, all the people on the end of that pier have been enjoying the beautiful noise coming out of that big Mercruiser race engine. So race order at the moment is Nutcase back to cardiac arrest, Donzie Racing, and the Con in that order. Class order in 85, it's Donzie, the only runner out there. And in 65, Nutcase, Cardiac Arrest, and the Con in third place. Cardiac Arrest running around in 4:01s. Nutcase in 4:05. So Cardiac Arrest on the previous lap, 4 seconds quicker. And yeah, the Con looks to have just dropped off a little bit. They're running around in 5:12. So as I said, Con just a bit off the pace compared to the two race leaders there. But that Con boat been the picture of reliability, and they're doing a good job. And they'll finish up in the championship up the higher end of the pack. No doubt about that. So just over 6 minutes left to run in this race. Big shout out to our crew in the tower today as well. We got Russell, our race director, always doing a fantastic job, runs a tight ship. Fresh off his triumphant victory at the EC Griffith Cup with the hydro pits. And I think we've got a plethora in there now. We've got Liam, we've got Ben, we've got Em. It's all going on in race control at the moment. My men, my cameramen up here, Neil and Paulie boy, working hard, or hardly working, not sure which. And of course, Scotty, the main man who's running GP Hydro live streaming. And what would we say to the people that complained at the Griffith Cup? We can't say it out loud. They can sod off. So, that beautiful Portia-bottomed Donzie up into the top turn. Runs the IMCO stern drive on this boat. So very nice bit of kit. I've said it a few times today, but try and get down and have a look at it in the pits. The pits are at the Cruising Yacht Club just up the road here at the boat ramp. You're allowed in the pits. You can go and look at the boats. You can go and talk to the drivers. And if you ask a race boat driver about his boat, hang on for the ride, because he's going to want to talk about it for about 3 hours, which is exactly what you want. Battle still continuing on here between Cardiac Arrest and Nutcase. Nutcase still leading. So if they can take a win... Oh, geez, they take some hits up the back straight. If they can take a win here, that'll be 5 straight for Nutcase, which just goes to show if they had have had a strong start to the season, they would have almost been unbeatable. But Team Cardiac Arrest, they have been rock solid all year. And they know what they need to do. They don't need to do anything crazy out here today or tomorrow. They've got one race left tomorrow, and then they can comfortably say the championship is theirs, although it pretty much is now anyway. But I'm sure it'll be a pretty good feeling when they get to the finish line tomorrow and clinch that Australian championship. Anyone in any sport that anyone does, you always want to be the champion of your country, and if you can, the champion of the world. And these guys, the cardiac arrest team, looking like becoming the Australian champions for 2026. Not confirmed yet, but something pretty horrific would have to go. In fact, I'm not sure it can even go wrong from now. But what do you do tomorrow if you've already won the championship? You go out and absolutely give it everything. That's what I'd do. I'm a little bit competitive though, Neil. I was never a big fan of looking at people's transoms. Well, except in the pits. I'm definitely not looking at your transom, Neil. Nutcase is your race leader. We have got 2 minutes and 7 seconds left to run in this race, so they'll get another lap in. So this will be the penultimate lap there for Nutcase Racing. Cardiac arrest, still right up their clacker, in their wash, looking for a way around, thinking, should we do it? Can we do it? The problem with these speed limited classes too is once you get a little bit of a gap, if the other boat's running on the speed limit, very, very, virtually impossible to catch them. And Peyton and Backer look like they're pushing along pretty well here at the moment. Conditions suiting this boat. It's one of the shorter boats in this class, but it really does handle the rough water very, very well. You can see the boat just jumping there, propeller coming out of the water. Big thank you to TR Marine World too. Our man, Ian Tricker. 1 minute left in this race. So this will be the final lap, given that we're going around in 4 odd minute laps. There you go, cardiac arrest 4:03, Nutcase 4:01. So yeah, 4 minute laps. So this will definitely be when Nutcase comes around, will be a checkered flag. So down through the bottom turn, and this battle continues between the Nutcase and the cardiac arrest. Greggy Walters, our flag man out there, just getting the word that this will be the last lap. And he said on the radio, Nutcase is getting the checkered flag whether they like it or not. I think they'll like it. I think they'll like grabbing it number one. Tell you what, this is an interesting one. The Donzi didn't come back the way I thought it might. These boys have struggled a little bit in this one, I reckon. Says and Stav. Don't have to push ridiculously hard, given that they're the only boat in their class still running at the moment. But George and Chris just playing the conservative game, I would suggest, at the minute. down through the bottom end as we watch the nutcase go up the top end. Do you think dogs don't like push bikes because they can't ride them? I don't know, it's just a thought. Down through the bottom turn we go, and the wild man, Harry the boatman backer, and Shane Payton, the mad ranger. Line it up for the run to the line here as we go for race number 2, round number 4, day number 1. We've got another day tomorrow. This is the charge to the line. The checkered flag will come out. They do have a boat in front of them, which is probably not going to get to the line before they do. Yeah, it's the Con. They're going to go past the Con here. So Con will be happy to see that checkered flag. I think they've battled a little bit in this one. Checkered flag comes out. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand up, wave your hats and programs, put your hands together for Harry the Boatman backer and Shane Payton in the nutcase. The Razorcraft takes a solid win as the cardiac arrest comes at him to the line. Checkered flag out now. And Nutcase takes the win. Put your hands together, folks. Cardiac arrest into second place. Ivan and Charlie getting the job done there. The Con will come through. That'll be third place there for the Con with Brendan and Sophie. And just up the back straight now is the final boat on the course, which is Donzi Racing. George and Chris doing it nicely. They've struggled a little bit in this one, I reckon. Or have they just played the conservative game? That's the question. Not too sure. That'll be the story in the pits later, you reckon? Yeah, boat races are liars, as traditionally we know. A couple of big hits out there too. The Donzi just having a big jump there. Beautiful American hull design. As I've said a couple of times, Scott Portier has modified the bottom of this particular boat for Simons Clark Logistics. The 525 Mercruiser racing engine in this boat running through the IMCO drive. So up through the top turn and this beautiful Donzi hull. They line it up. Copping some fairly messy water up there at the top end of the course. And this will be our final boat home. Still got a little way to come yet. If haven't made it down to the pier. Stabbing at the throttle boat. Just looks off the pace to me. I'm not sure if there's an issue, but it doesn't look like it's got anywhere near the pace that we saw it earlier on. So George Shez and Chris Stav. Go past the end of the Largs Pier here at the Largs Bay Sailing Club. Big shout out to them, along with all of our other wonderful sponsors. North Haven Marine, Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, Beach Haven Cafe, Adelaide Speedboat Club, Simons Clark Logistics, 35 South Marina. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Donzi Racing wins the 85 Super Sports category. Sometimes you just got to be there at the end, Neilo, and that's exactly what they did. And that wraps up the final boat home there. final race of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed the racing we brought you today. Big thank you to Scotty, Neilo, Paulie, GP Hydro live streaming. Thank you to this wonderful yacht club that we're at, the Largs Bay Sailing Club. It's been fantastic. We're going to go to the bar, Neil and I now, and we might pack up a bit of stuff. But we're back tomorrow. We're back tomorrow at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock, 3 races. The big boys are coming out for 2 tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast today. Join us again tomorrow and watch some more fantastic racing from here at Largs Bay, South Australia.